right, so do we have a?
Just go to the,
Oh, okay, so I'll just.
Right, and there's a committee looking at it, what are we gonna talk?
I thought that wasn't gonna come into effect until, there's like a 40%, but not till 27. But that's what I thought I heard on.
All right, so those of you that don't have a budget, you can have it.
I have one.
I don't have a budget.
Have a budget,
I know.
Liz don't have a budget.
Liz has one.
Mm.
No, you have to engage adjustment, that you put over all the time. No. That is all right.
Yeah, mine.
Anthony's not here.
Not yet.
That's his.
all right, we're live on YouTube, but it's not recording yet.
He wants to live.
Thank you
Oh,
very
my
much,
goodness.
Jane, appreciate it.
And like,
Thank you.
Oh, it doesn't have my name on it. What
I was gonna say, yeah, you used to have our names on every one.
ton. We love you got printed.
Like you gotta have your own name these days.
Well,
Fine.
it's like you're.
She's got senioritis, I guess.
No. it's-
Done with a.
Scott almost retired it.
Don't use the word.
It's too many.
Can somebody crack the window? Somebody who can, thanks.
Ready for freeze tonight?
I have no
I think
internet.
so. Last
But it
night,
won't freeze on that side though.
last night we brought all our house plants in, so I guess we're ready.
It was 27 and last I think it's gonna be 35.
Excuse me, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
really? They
it's
brought
on
that
level points.
overnight?
It's on.
That's good.
Today, when I looked, it was said 38, so I'm feeling better and better.
The grapes
Are
don't
Are all
like.
your grapes off?
Why all of a sudden do I not go to the end?
Really? I guess I know what I'll be doing.
Ice wine.
We're clueless as well,
We
Jane,
allowed to-
sorry.
What the bird?
It's
For the
on.
15th.
It's on.
15th.
So does that mean you can't, Mallory, does that mean no fires at Smith Park?
No, it excluded like small campground.
Campfires.
Contained.
Uh-huh, okay.
For some reason.
There we are.
Can you actually make a fire in a grape vineyard and make it so it don't freeze?
Bird.
Yeah.
They do that, the problem is you need a lot.
Yeah, I don't understand how that would work. Like, how far does each fire actually?
Well, that's why you need a lot.
Yeah.
The same as the fans, they'll.
Smoke and the haze that makes it.
The fans could work.
Where we're going when you're ready.
They would, seems like they would, essentially, the
Stupid.
freeze would be worse with it.
I'll let Dave figure
I
out.
think it's just to keep the air
I can't
moving.
find the internet. It says I'm not connected. It says I don't have any.
My guess over there won't freeze. The lake will keep it warm.
Figs?
Kiwi berry. Have you ever had them? They're really good.
Is our Wi-Fi?
And down the hill.
Maybe that's what it is. So maybe what's happening, I don't know. There's so many-
Yeah. Yeah,
This one's.
those are from Mansfield Farm. But they were just saying, I don't think
We're
we
dead
will.
low 30.
Do you think?
Say 39.
I think we'll be okay. I brought all my house plants in, but I think.
No.
Just covered.
Hot peppers been so around. I covered them last night.
Uh-huh.
Uncovered them this morning.
Uh-huh.
There wasn't a frost up there, but there was ice. Like water that had frozen on the plastic.
Oh,
What?
oh, that's strange.
Yeah, tea guy.
I,
Did you turn your computer on too right now?
no.
Did you blow in the
Why
holes?
do that?
Because sometimes
Anthony.
that's what helps.
I didn't. know
Everything
where it's
electronic,
from.
but don't work, you turn it off first, turn it back on.
I know, sometimes it does help. I'm like, oh, I don't know.
You don't know how many times you do that with electronics.
Oh, you can look through all year that did.
Or back off.
Terrible, it never works.
It works sometimes.
What page are we starting on, Justin?
We're gonna start on, well, actually, no. We are going to start on. The very end. Fire protection,
These separate pages we got?
yes,
Okay.
because since Mike was kind enough to come. And
Give us a breakdown.
give us a breakdown on what he's doing, I figured we could start with him. These two separate pages do reflect the change in the Burdette request. as well.
Okay, yeah, because
You should probably start our meeting first, though.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna let James do that, but
you had it.
you
I did ask.
Well, I can't get on, yet, so, oh, crap. I can't get on without going and getting my little,
Oh, shit, that's right.
yeah,
Jane, you can't shoot it.
didn't bring anything to shoot it with.
I was just, I shot down in New York. So pictures of, finally, we had this last week, what, Monday. Tuesday.
We don't know.
Yeah, we shot at, just wrapping up.
I'm gonna have some cherry tomatoes, Rebecca. I'm having some cherry tomatoes.
We chased a bear out of our cornfield the other day up on Stewart Road.
Wow. How do you chase a bear? Tractor?
Went and shot this morning.
Huh?
How do you chase a bear? Tractor?
Chopping the corn.
Oh.
It was smarter than the human person. The bear ran out of the field. The human stayed in last year.
Yeah, that other, yeah,
Yeah, that guy.
well, the bear wasn't hiding from you, from the law. How big was it?
I went up there. They just said
And
it
then
was
next
there.
week, back to what I would expect.
She didn't ask what color it was. She just said, just kidding.
It's stuff that works. I'm just gonna push it off the table.
I always look
Yes,
at
we're
the
gonna
ears.
make sure.
You know that?
What's that?
Look at the ears on a bear. The younger they are, the bigger the ears are.
Interesting, because they kind of grow into them.
Mm-hmm. And as they get
Cool.
older, their ears don't move, don't grow. And so when you see a large bear with very small ears,
You know,
that's an older bear.
I'm not sure that helps me since I've never seen a bear in person. I'm close enough to see its ears.
I've seen them getting into.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think I have any perspective on that matter.
I've seen them getting
Oh,
into.
yeah? You never seen a bear?
No.
Here.
No, I'm bummed. I've always wanted
Seen
to,
them a
but
couple times here.
yeah, never
I've been
have.
over in the lot.
One time a bear was definitely in the bees on our property, but we did not see it. It was just in the morning, you were like, oh, a bear was here last night. Yeah, next to Jason.
Wow.
One good one.
Who else to Anthony, because it's gonna let me in now.
Went and saw
So
the
I'm
Egyptian.
going to-
this.
I love that. Isn't that so cool? Had you ever seen it before?
No, and I've been wanting to before, I was like.
I love that. And you're like, what the heck is going on?
That's 35 years old, Egyptian, or the Italian, the Romans.
Okay.
little
It was
crab feet
crazy.
on it, like 2000.
Yeah, you read that and you're like,
I had a friend out from California and I'm like, Egyptian obelisk, and he thought it was like a pyramid. I'm like, no, it's not a pyramid.
obelisk.
He's like,
It's in the name. Sorry, I see you, Jane. You're in.
No, in 1880, the Egyptian government got him back from,
Well, it fell over like in the,
well, the
I don't
Roman.
know, really long time ago in
Like
Egypt.
50 BCE, they were up 35 years. And then 2050 years, like the Romans,
Alright.
like, were, they were in the, they're falling over in a half bearing.
they were like for like 2,000 years.
Yeah, 1500 years, they're like, we want those, and then I
We're good.
grabbed one, so put these feet on. 1884, they brought.
And then it's Smith Park. Central
There's
Park.
Smith
Yeah.
Park.
It's Smith Park.
Then we rounded the Central Park.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
that goes
this,
down
I just
into
have to
it.
do this on
It's still done.
That's when you put down the piece of paper and full screen.
Is the,
There, is that better?
you want to mute it so that feedback.
Oh, we didn't join with audio, so I think.
I didn't
We
join
hear it
it
by
on
now.
now,
We would have heard it by now.
but I will make sure my sound is
It's
all the way
recorded.
off.
It's recording and streaming.
All right.
It's not a very interesting meeting so far.
Call to order.
Or maybe it's the best meeting we've ever.
Budget meeting, please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We are hoping that by the end of the meeting, we have the budget from Mecklenburg. It's in process, right, as we speak. But Chief Hicks from Boy Slogan Hector was kind enough to come out with a copy of his budget so we can review that. Right?
Yeah, so we started off with about a 4% increase, but Justin reached out to me. That the workers' comp has gone down quite a bit. So. On the page here, it says it's a 3% increase, but it's like 2.9 or just under 2.9%, but it actually is. So it was a lot less. I think we dropped to like 70 or $4,000, I think, $4,500, something like that.
The workman's comp, $4,800.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the 12.5 was a little high to begin with, I think, but it was, we never really get a good number on it. We did take a pretty good hit on our liability and cancer insurance. The couple years ago, of course, the state mandated that we have cancer coverage for all firefighters, but also mandates we pay for it, so. Just like everything else. All that keeps going up and up, and I always amazed when I look at my budget and the 10% of it just goes to the insurance for everything. Land wise, Justin had asked about that a little bit as well. This past year, we repurposed the pole barn, right? So it used to be just really done for fundraising, where we had a lot of our carnival stuff out there, the Hector Fair. We re-sided it, got rid of the old windows we roll up and serve food out of. Put some overhead doors in there, got some of our equipment stored out there now. And so we ended up taking our parking lot, just gravel wise. And redoing moving that all the way out to the end of the pole barn. As well as putting in all the appropriate drainage. Of course, following the state rules on our drainage so that it doesn't drain into the ditch. No, that's been done, so. I expect that we're gonna do more, because our goal is to have that building set up to be a drive-through. From south to north. So that they usually be on the trailer, they're not backing it in all the time, they can drive all around the building, but. Backside needs a lot of work yet, so.
Is this the building that's on Ball Diamond Road, or this is behind the main complex?
Behind the firehouse.
Okay.
One's over in Ball Diamond, they're actually. There's two sheds, one of those sheds is, we let the library people out there for their book sale, so that's all at their expense.
Okay.
And then the other one, it used to be our red barn over there. We cleaned it out, let the youth soccer. Rebuild it, and they store all of their stuff in it.
Okay.
The who? What?
Youth soccer.
Oh,
The Seneca Strikers,
so you don't use it,
those are those that I use it for, the red barn. In the past was used to store a lot of the fair.
Right.
The games, the wood frames that went around everything went under. The soccer team wanted to build more out there, okay, just roll pretty hard on, just do that one. Otherwise, it's just enough. That junk thing in there. Firehouse wise, we've been going through doing a lot of gear purchasing. There's so much stuff that. OSHA, Department of Labor, comes back and says. There's a certain life on these things. Whether it's worn out or not. And that's the typical thing with rural fire departments, it's the lifespan of it. It's very get dinged on it, not so much that it's worn out. So we have been. Buying some more gear, replacing that. And that cost about $8,000 a set. So. I talked to people about grants. And especially when you look at those FEMA grants, we don't have a lot of activity, so it's very difficult to get a FEMA grant, we don't have a lot of activity fire wise. You know, they're on the road all the time with the ambulance, that doesn't count towards that, those FEMA grants. And when I talk to the people that do the grants, the politicians, whoever are helping you with the grants, the one thing that works against you is if you do a good job financially planning. The people that get the grants are the ones that it's like, oh, we needed the fire truck, we didn't save a penny for it. Then the government's like, hey, nobody asked you, what did you do with all the old money? Why didn't you have it set aside? So we've got a pretty good reserve, so that at the point we need to work on our next fire truck or whatever, that well, we won't be financing the whole thing.
So that's why the land's going up by $1,700 is. You're working on the pole barn.
We're working on that, the pole barn and that whole parking area there.
That's good, and needs a lot of drainage, it gets pretty wet then.
Yeah, super. And it's, the building is getting, not that goes into the fire contract, but overall, that building is getting used more and more and more. The Office for the Aging just moved their bone builders into that. So they're there twice a week now. On a regular basis.
And you collect rent for that too, right?
We don't get anything for the bone builders, no.
Okay, so
Great to see it used for community events.
for people that are,
When we remodeled that building pre-pandemic, so about 2016, right, we looked at building a new building, it was like. Way too much, and we did not want to hand that mortgage book to the next generation of firefighters. So we were able to raise enough money to redo that whole firehouse, pretty nice. And with the anticipation of being a lot more community usage. Then of course we got it all done in the pandemic, so that vacant forever,
but it was a great staging area for the FEMA or for the,
yeah, oh, the FEMA guys loved it.
Yeah.
They were there, but
that in the library.
after that, the usage kind of dropped, but no, I have to keep a full calendar of who's using what, who borrowed the tables and chairs and who's in there next to the library, even though the library attached, the library comes in and uses it, maybe once or twice a month. The different larger meetings and stuff, and I think the town is in there next week. The sustainability.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have another question. I was just noticing on the electricity, it stayed flat year over year, but certainly the cost from the provider hasn't. Is that something that you're concerned about, of it not increasing?
So we run two budgets. So I got my town contract budget, and then our fundraising was wholly supports the ambulance. All right, so when you see that red ambulance going down the road, none of that's in this budget.
Okay.
We pay for that 100% between the pancake breakfast, the donations and all that stuff there. When you look at the building, we don't use much electric even compared to like household, because we got all new LED lighting in the place. If we do anything big outside, we actually go run a generator for that. So our electric is not huge. We did add air conditioning in the last year, and I was expecting to see a way bigger jump in it, but also that air conditioning is in the community room side, which we absorb more of in our other budget.
Okay. Thanks.
Any other questions or concerns?
Just for this one, it should be 2.9 or 3, basically.
Well, here's what, if you flip it over to the revenue side. What do you?
No, one side.
You should have.
Oh, this
is a page.
yeah.
It's the 4.09 is the increase. But when you look at the entire budget, including. Because remember, you have to, this is part of it, and it went down significantly, so it brings the entire budget down to the 2.83.
Okay.
That makes sense now?
Yeah.
The budget changed down to 2.83. Which is,
Over here.
It's really just around the working comp thing down below.
yep,
Right.
it is.
And next year they'll jump that back up.
Yeah, it'll probably come back up, but I recapped Mike because our numbers didn't quite add up, and then I realized that he hadn't, or. Most likely my fault, I haven't had updated him on the workman comp numbers, so he was working off last year's, which was throwing his growth off compared to ours, but.
And we do have a workers' comp plan on the books right now. I don't think that really affects us, though, this it's not based off of that, it's based off the population, I believe,
I
right?
believe so. But that's one thing across the board, the work comp for the town has gone down significantly this year. So. One thing, big, one insurance, there's no more questions or comments. Mike, thank you for your time. I appreciate you coming over and getting us this information. And I know Mike's will be available to anybody if they had questions in the near future about it. All right, thanks.
Thanks.
Now, this is a little out of the ordinary, but before we move on to the next step, I would like to make a motion that we go into executive session for no longer than 10 minutes.
I'll second that motion.
The first and second, Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Did you have a question?
No, maybe go, you guys don't have, I'm gonna say time to Josh.
Let's go with my
What's your executive session?
I've paused the recording, but you are streaming.
You guys are streaming, it's not me.
Live streaming, so.
Just,
okay, it'll be on.
If you say anything on toward, you might want to step at the judge's office. Just saying.
This is nothing. Yeah. Right. First of these time. So I've got.
Close that door, you're still gonna be heard. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Never done. These tiny little things.
I think they're better than regular kiwis.
Yeah.
They don't get much
they're
help.
smaller.
Yeah. Let's see.
What do they call them? Kiwi berries, I don't look at them, I have to look for them. I see they must be like.
Yeah.
With them and peppers and bigger tomatoes and the whole rest of my own ingested in one.
You have a good crop this year with your garden.
I had more, had a whole half a bushel of peppers left out there that I didn't realize I had that many left out there.
Yeah.
I'd done 4 batches of pepper jelly
Wow.
and. 20, 21 jars of stewed tomatoes.
Wow.
Using my peppers in and stuff, used a lot. The full one out on that table back there, Josh, it should be, yes. It doesn't have the updated fire one that they just passed out right before the meeting. So.
Usually you can work on.
Is there not an extra there?
No.
I got one more up here. I had a couple that must be like the one and then somebody else has the other one. I took one. You took one? Yeah, I took one. That's fine. Yeah, cause I didn't get a bunch of copies maybe. But. I'm still going.
Yeah. Usually, like, valve making plans and. Yeah. Everything down. But if I want to use them, they'll have to do it. Yeah.
Okay, we went into discuss pending legal matter.
I was just saying, tell me something like that.
Sorry about that. Thank you guys for coming. So we're gonna start right off.
Motion to return from executive session.
I'll
Second,
second. We're gonna,
yeah,
This is a good idea.
we're gonna start right on page 1.
A very good place to start.
Seems how we did the last two already.
Yeah,
back to that.
and no change
Oh,
for
we didn't give ourselves a
the
raise.
town board and keeping the contractual the same because we could potentially have a couple of new board members, so we want to be able to send them out for training. And then we move right into the town justices lines. Your Honor.
Yes. Well, it looks like they did, there's some increases and some decreases, so. Let me tell you what they are.
Yes, please.
Okay, all right, so on, well, line 1 there, A1110A, or 1110.11, that's, the increase was 29,000 based on the increases in the, health insurance. So it looks like that, I think it's gonna go up about close to $1,500. For my share of that. But in addition to that, I did an analysis from when I started till now, if I did a 3% all the way across, it'd be right about within $500 of that, so. It's in line. So that's that, and then the clerk in this instance, I believe Jane's gonna stay on. It's a power of appointment and my discretion, but she knows what she's doing, so I'm gonna keep her on and spending a lot longer than I have. But I think one of the differences there is that the increase is because she's gonna be there's gonna be an increase in hours. And what's happening now is really the town's getting the benefit of her being here in many capacities. So if somebody wants to come in Monday through Friday and pay a fine between 9 and 4 or whatever, they can do it. With this budget that's coming out next year, there'll be 15 hours where with James here, where I'm here, partially in that time frame. And so we're gonna have to set a time for the people to pay their fines, if they want to pay them that way. During those time frames, Wednesdays, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever it ends up being. So, so that works out, to be an increase for Jane because of her capacity as a working more hours as a clerk. And then, we did take some money out of the budget for the equipment. I haven't been spending too much on equipment. I think we bought some printers and copiers last year. And everything seems to be working fine, so I think that's reasonable to take some out of that. The 4,000 on the contractual, that might be tight, I don't know, we're gonna have to see how that works out, but. That's for the stamps and for paper and for all that other stuff that we
The
use.
file folders.
File folders, and you know, there's been
Everything.
an increase in the amount of. Cases that we've had, so that may increase. And then the bailiff situation, you know, we have court 2 nights a month, and it, you know. We've trimmed that down to bare bones on this one, but I think it historically, you look over the past. Well, if you try and look over the past few years, their billing cycle's not that frequent. So, but we're caught up, which is good. It runs about $1,600 a year on average, somewhere in that range. But if we have a trial, then I might have, you know, a bailiff here for a week straight. Or something like that. And if that were the case, you know, we'd have to come up with a new payback.
That being said, I don't wanna cut you off, you know, but, we have taxed significantly more in the last number of years. So there is money in the fund balance that could be easily used to cover an expense like that if it was, because we have repeatedly taxed, we look back at the history. We were at, $5,000, or no, excuse me, we're at 3,200 last year. We're at a considerable, and that was 2 years worth of bailiff. We taxed for it for the last few years at a higher rate and haven't been spending the money, so we'll be able to go back. And use the money that. For the purpose it was taxed for over the last few years.
We need a bill for 2025, we haven't had, they haven't billed us anything.
Usually bill at the end of the year.
If you chase after them enough.
They only bill once a year.
Sure.
They didn't go off.
Yeah, and at some point I feel like we should just walk away because they don't bill us, but else.
Yeah, but eventually they'll
Yeah.
figure it out.
That's what I got right now.
So-
So they ask fire away with any questions.
I see there's alternate justice there, but no money on the line. Can you say more about that?
Yeah, and I did address that last year, so because of the, I think when Judge Caslin was here, you guys brought it down to, you did an actual. Resolution and then actually passed a motion, a resolution that said it's only one justice. An alternate justice can't happen in a town unless you pass another resolution to make that happen and bring another justice in. In a village, you can have an alternate justice. And then you have to have a line item for it, and then you can find somebody to do it. I tried to do that. I think at the beginning of last year, or the end of last year, I started talking about doing that, and I called OCA and you say you have to change the law and Hector to be able to add an alternate justice.
What happens right now if you say break your leg, you can't come to court for 6 months? Whatever.
Right now I call the Office of Court Administration and they have to assign somebody to fill in this court.
And it would just be paid off of your, I guess my question is, how would we pay a person who
Yeah,
came to
you
fill
know,
in an emergency?
I can't answer that exactly accurately because I don't know if it's coming out of my line or OCA has a budget to allow for that. I've seen it in other instances where somebody was not able to perform their duties and they brought in another justice and they just got paid out of OCA.
Hmm.
So,
So then are we paying a fee to OCA to cover some of that? I mean, like, is there a membership fee or something that covers that?
No,
That's the fines go to OCA.
The fines
Are-
fund it
A lot of
from
the
the court.
fines, a lot of the fines from the court go to OCA.
Okay.
There are
Mhm.
certain there are certain ticket sections that the monies stay here in the town. So, depending on the code on the ticket.
yeah, some of the fine money
We
goes here,
keep-
some of
we-
it goes to the state.
Right, we
Most
keep
of it goes to the state.
$5 of the $93 state surcharge on every ticket stays with the town. And the fine monies all go to the state, except for certain things the town gets a portion of, or certain codes. The whole amount of the fine stays here, so depends on what it's written as. think the 1210 As, I think that whole fine stays here. And the 1110 As, I think stay.
Everything on a monthly basis. Everything that he files, everything that takes place in court with the state system, and the state system sends us a bill, which is for the fines and other types of revenue, which a percentage stays with us, and the rest goes to the state. So like this month, it happened to be behind schedule, so yesterday I got the bill for August and September, so they send us a bill and we send them a check to cover that.
So there's sometimes a period in which people have not paid us yet, but we've already paid the state for their fine.
No,
No,
no, we haven't paid the state until we collect the fine.
it's always tangible money
Mm-hmm.
deposited in the bank, and then at the end of the beginning of every month, I'll cut a check to town supervisor, and then flows it where it goes back to the state. Send the bill.
Yeah, so he might give us a check for say $6,000 when we send 4,500 to the state, or 4,000, depending on what the fines are for and the percentage that stays within the town and goes to the state.
Interesting.
Just give you sort of a behind the scenes bookkeeping or housekeeping.
Mm-hmm. No, it's interesting to know.
As of right now, the total fines that have come in as of yesterday have been $40,236.
That's year to date.
Year to date.
Okay.
I think it's an increase over last year.
So he did increase his proposed revenue line, which is A 2610 to $20,000 from 15,000.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm anticipating that I think that the fines have been, it's been more, that's, I think we're up to 369 defendants as of yet today.
What was that, where's the number again?
369.
Okay, just don't.
Here.
We're up from last year, charges are 446.
About this fine, 847.
If you go to the revenue part of the aid budget, it's page 2 of the revenue sections.
Which is on the top.
Mhm.
Yep. Page 2 of the revenues.
But that 40,000 isn't
Yeah.
reflected in this budget yet.
Yeah, the next page.
Well, so the number I just gave is the total number of fines
Uh-huh.
that come in. Again, out of those
I
fines.
see, we've kept $10,149, but you've collected 40,000, so the state's gotten their 29,000. Okay. Can I just ask a question about the clerk? So this, I mean, it's the biggest increase in the budget, so I'm just curious, does this reflect more hours for the court clerk working, or is it just that in the past, the court clerk has been in the building every day and now it'll be a more defined time period? I mean, just because it's such a big increase on the past.
Well, the hourly rate works out to be like $24 an hour, and that would be
Mhm.
15 hours a week, so.
So just to help clear up what you're asking is, prior to this, with her being both the clerk and.
No, it's sort of
court
different when
clerk,
you're in the building all the time.
She's standing at the window and somebody comes in, I want to pay you, so you can just take it. But
Yeah,
Not, if you're not the court clerk, you can't just take it, so she has to set
oh,
some.
interesting. So people will only be able to pay their court fines now during the court clerk office hours, which will be advertised. And every day.
Does that make,
No, it does make sense. I'm just,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just asking, like, yeah.
we, like,
Yeah, and what was in this year's budget was really only covered about 6 hours a week, which
Mhm.
it does take more than that to do everything that is needed,
Mhm.
so.
once like the judge mentioned, we've been benefiting, the town's been benefiting from the multiple hats that Jane's been wearing.
Yeah, it's helpful when the clerk's just there all the time, but yeah. Uh-huh.
No, if it gets busy enough, do you have to increase the hours on the clerk? Not necessarily you, but if we needed a second person, we're getting busy, I can tell you that, at least this year, it's like.
Do people also pay online, just curious, or do they have to pay in person?
They can't pay it. We don't have it set up online, and there's issues across the state with vendors that have that for courts that things aren't going well in some of them. But they can pay with a credit card, they have to fill out a form. So when we send them the fine notice, it has a section on it for credit card payment.
Hmm.
And they can return that and we process it.
And that doesn't have to be during, I'm just curious
That's-
about
no,
people
because
who are
that
like
just comes in the
working and
mail.
can't make
Yeah,
That
the
comes in the
hours that
mail.
were open for that,
Yeah.
yeah.
we make it as flexible as we can.
Right.
Give people time to pay, and it's convenience based.
Mhm.
The law says I gotta give time, so.
People can mail a check or no?
No checks, money
Money
orders for sure,
Okay, they could mail a money order.
money order.
Interesting, but not a check.
Cashier's check. It's a
Interesting,
Cashier's check, it's not.
Not a personal check.
interesting, wow,
Yeah,
Wow.
no court takes a personal check.
fascinating.
And for a specific instance, I'll tell you why. Dale James told someone, knew it was someone, town affected resident. I know you and I know where to find you. I'll take your personal check. But don't make me take that bounced check to the sheriff's department. And lo and behold, her check bounced.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
So we don't take.
That's not a state thing, though, it's just that, I mean,
It's been customary in all the years I've been practicing law outside of this job, it's. we never
Interesting.
take, like, some checks, it's.
Huh.
They might take an attorney check from the trust account, but they're not taking.
it's just funny, you can pay your taxes with a check, but you can't pay your parking ticket with it. Interesting, okay. That's all my questions, thank you.
Any additional questions prior to?
Not this time. I got my notes with you. You asked it.
Mhm.
The number was 18,720. I figured it was a number of hours based on a number of dollars per hour.
Yep. All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay. So you have anything else? We good?
That's it. Thank you very much for coming tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank,
for having me.
Not until we gotta fix the bottom line and then we gotta renegotiate.
Have a great day.
Yeah, take care.
All right. Account clerk. Which is Kathy. We are giving her a significant raise, however. It is not as significant as this would indicate. We're realigning. She is also the account clerk for the highway department. And she spends more time on the rest of the town than she does in the highway department, so we're moving more of her hours into.
So like 70% of her time goes to the town and 30% goes to highway or
It's more like
something.
80-20 now.
80-20,
But I think we're moving it from like 65-35, so we're.
To like
just-
80-20.
Yeah, so that's why you see the 2024,
or when we get to her in highway, it'll be smaller than, okay,
or it might be neutral, might be. like
Yeah.
nothing, because
all right.
there's a slight uptick in the supervisor. There's a 3.8% increase, which is $2,500 for bookkeeper. Took out the equipment line, reduced supervisor's contractual expenses based on history. And pulled the money out for the audit. We did do, I'm waiting for the final paperwork. We did do the small mini audits that we've done in the past. However, I'm not sure how we ended up with $8,500 on the budget last year, because 2 years ago, we budgeted $30,000 for an audit, and we have had one that cost us $8,500. So we moved it back to zero with the idea that we can continue to have two sections of the budget reviewed each year for that same approximate $8,500 and have that money come from fund balance, since we've already taxed for it. So we're not taxing our residents a second time for something we haven't spent all of the first time we taxed it. That makes sense?
Mhm.
Okay. Budget officer and the assistant.
I'm sorry, I missed it. What's the difference between line A1 to 2020.11 and A1 2020.12?
The bookkeeper?
Supervisor versus supervisor slash bookkeeper slash
It's
HR.
the bookkeeper to the supervisor is the
Yeah.
title.
Oh, I
for
see,
that
I
1-2
see.
line.
It's
Okay.
the-
Mhm.
It's Kathy's position, she's the bookkeeper to the supervisor.
Oh, she's
No,
not the
that's
account
Janine's.
clerk? Does she-
Oh, sorry,
Janine.
yeah, that's
Janine.
Janine's job,
Yeah.
she is the
Yeah.
bookkeeper
Bookkeeper
to the
super-
supervisor.
Got it.
The account
And that's
clerk-
her whole, the only line
Yes.
she has.
Well, she
No,
has
she's
a
a budget
little,
officer.
she has a little, she gets some out of the budget officer,
Mhm.
she's the assistant budget officer, and then she gets a small bit out of,
Out of what?
or water, for-
Water,
yeah,
is there anything on the highway for Janine? No?
no,
Okay. What should do for water? All of the HR stuff?
Yeah.
And payroll?
Yep.
He does payroll for the whole town, so.
yeah, so we
For
try
the
to.
each department.
A,
You
we
could
have to-
actually split the payroll thing up between every department. It's,
But since that's a special district, that's separated out, because it has to pay for itself.
Yeah, no, I was just imagining Lori doing water billing and her setting up bills.
So budget, and the first budget officer line, 0.11, that's your line.
Yep.
And then the 0.12 is Janine as
Yep.
the assistant, okay. Doesn't seem like that's enough money for managing this, much of a budget. I mean, this very well organized and very good budget.
Well, we'll see. Well, anything in the contractual line of the budget office for years, so we didn't put anything in there. The assessment review board, we did increase it for the 25 budget a little bit.
That's there's 3 people on that.
Yep,
And their hours are pretty much set, right? Is it?
the hours that they see people, yes, are 2 to 4 and 6 to 8 on grievance day. However, if there's people in the room, they don't necessarily quit at 4 o'clock. They hear everybody before going home for the night. So depending on how many people are here, but then they have to meet again once or twice to review all of the applications and to make decisions.
the assessor's contract is what we pay Skyler County, which we haven't signed the contract for yet. But this is our cost that the county charges us to cover the expense of having an assessor and the assistance that the assessor needs. This is the town of Hector's share. As I mentioned in the board meeting, the supervisors have been pushing back and forth with the county. They have revised down the expense of the contract they were trying to get us to 50% from 25% in 2 years. And while we're not happy with a lot of things, they did decide to stretch that into a 3-year span. Originally, this number was going to be 58,000, so they dropped it a little bit to spread it.
What does that mean, cover 50%? That means
The
the
cost
local,
of maintaining that office is shared 50% between the county and the towns that participate in the shared services agreement.
okay,
So if it costs,
so the county is gonna cover 50% of the
for
cost.
this year, they're going to be covering 68%. And then next year, it's gonna be,
And then the like 5 or 6 towns or whatever
Yeah.
are gonna cover the other 50%.
CUDA don't participate, right?
Ada doesn't,
They have their own
Is there
assessment.
one more?
no,
Or else is it?
everybody else is in at this time.
Does it go by town size and
Yes,
things? Been Hector
we,
being the
we
biggest,
pay, we pay the most, but it also is,
By parcel?
by parcel, and the by parcel charge is. $10.25. If. Well, now we've changed it, our 50% share is projected in 2027. Would be $78,520, but is slowing that down, so it won't be until 2028 that we'll actually be paying 50%. if the agreement holds. Is they have been negotiating with the town, to basically take it or leave it, when the towns are getting it.
So she has $10 and change to evaluate your parcel when she redoes the reval.
Which is still not gonna happen until 2027.
It looks, well, that's another bone of contention. The assessor and myself are concerned that the office is understaffed and they'll miss the filing deadline with the state, so state assistance is. May or may not come, we'll know tomorrow. If the state assistance isn't gonna come, it's not going to happen 100% till 2027. But if it does come through, we're trying to force the county to bring in assistance.
And this is,
Because-
just for my clarity, this is money or a person, that's its budget.
This is some of both. The assistance from the state is the information that they provide, and they're supposed to file for that in January and it didn't get filed for. And so if the state would come back tomorrow after the meeting and say, we're sorry, you missed your deadline, we're not gonna, we can't provide you with accurate information at this point in time that represents you for next year. Our concern, the other side of it is, our concern is that they don't have, since they didn't get it started and they're missing all that information, that they can't provide us with an accurate reassessment. And this is going to be a big reassessment.
And the
And
longer they wait, the more it's gonna jump.
it is,
Yes.
but if they have everything filed on time and they're basically now they're playing catch up. Yeah, whereas they should be starting January 1st and they are starting in September essentially. So unless they bring in outside resources to assist,
Cause they only have 30% of the stuff done at this point, and it's. If they don't hire us, they're never gonna get there.
well, they'll get there, but.
How accurate will we?
Yeah, exactly. With the fee, yes, it's gonna get worse if we don't do it 100% do it for 2027. But I feel like with it being such a large reassessment, we want it to be as accurate as possible, not rushed. And after our meeting, after the assessor, we've had a number of additional meetings and she is definitely putting every effort forward to be as cooperative and meet our expectations as possible. Just let you guys know that.
Is the heater?
In that room, furnace for
That
me?
is probably the furnace because of this cold air that's making me freeze sitting here.
Sorry, sorry. Okay, the cold out.
Alright.
It probably is the furnace kicked on because it's.
I was thinking how hot it is.
All right. Next line, town clerk tax collector, and so this budget was tricky. Because we're replacing. A couple of longtime employees that have. At least one case pushing 40 years of experience. So what we did, and the pay for the person that's elected town clerk comes from multiple lines. So we tried to. Move around all the lines and be fair and still have a fair starting wage. So that's why you see a decline in. The town clerk tax collector from 37 to 31,540. And the deputy dropped just a little bit because we are changing that based on what we say $20 an hour for the deputy.
So,
Because the deputy position we figured would be part-time, we based it on a $20 an hour rate. And so you see there is a slight change.
and so,
We've run all kinds of scenarios and situations because with Lori's leaving, she's retiring, but she's gonna maintain the water clerk position. So anybody coming in, it's gonna be a part-time position, not a full-time position at this point in time, because they're not gonna have the water clerk position, so we had to adjust the pay on these lines quite a bit. That make them. We were concerned about making sure they were fair and reasonable starting wage, but also not reflective of almost 40 years of experience. Contractual attorney. Excuse me, let me back up. Town clerk. Deputy 3, we bring in a individual to help during tax collection. And I think that's gonna be extra important this year since the tax collector is gonna be on round 1 of her experience. So we increased it a little bit. Last year, you can see we went over the budget by $10, which isn't that much, but we did increase it to $4,000 so that potentially we have some additional money if we need some extra time for this position. That makes sense?
And it's definitely needed. It gets so busy in here right out of the gate with tax collection.
Well, plus the new town clerk will be overwhelmed.
She
In
will be-
themselves, and then that
Yeah.
question happens right now.
Right,
right away. And at that point in time, I have to teach her how to do the apportionments. I have to get her prepared. It's outgoing tax collector. It's my responsibility to make sure the bills go out. I don't know if that totally means the apportionments are my responsibility, but when there were 20 some of them last year, it takes time to get them done. And it's, so I'm gonna have to teach her how to do them. Hopefully I get the tax roll in time enough and, Jessica's been really good at sending the apportionments through to me as she's been doing them for the school districts. But there are a lot of people that forget and wait, oh, I sold a piece of this property and I'm getting taxed for the whole thing, so. You know, it's not unusual to get an apportionment on the 25th of January and the tax bill's due by the 31st. But, so the incoming one also gonna have to learn how to do those apportionments, and the computer program steps you through it, but you still know what you're doing.
That's where those expenses, tax collector equipment, we kept $500 on there. And the contractual, a lot of that's postage, correct?
The contractual, that's postage, printer, ink. The postage on the tax bills. As you can see, 2024, we only had, in 2024, I believe we had 5,500 budgeted, and our total costs were 6,100. So that's why we had increased the line in 2025. But I don't think we can cut it because I don't think we have any credit towards the postage for the tax bills. So it's.
And that's the year-end bill, that's why we, you can see we haven't even spent half that yet, but the big expenses for this line.
Right, we haven't even gotten, right, because we will be, in November, they will be asking for a deposit for that postage. So we pay some of that postage up front. So I haven't even seen what that's gonna look like yet.
So that ends the town clerk tax collector section. Next one is the attorney. As you can see, we have dramatically increased the attorney with the highway department unionizing. Any significant potential legal expenses, and this is a budget amount that is in line with other townships that I've spoken to and in line with what the attorney's office thought.
So there'll be no surprises.
Yes,
If it,
exactly.
that's what it ends up being, but if it doesn't, it can.
If it doesn't, it'll roll back into fund balance and we can use it in a more enjoyable way, more productive way for the town. The next line, elections, we had nothing budgeted in 2025. 2024, 2023, well, there was a newly negotiated agreement. I don't know if you guys remember, we went back and we needed to pay Mecklenburg, Searsburg, and Valois, Logan, Hector for
24.
2024's election, and we also moved money to pay for 2025. So starting in 2026, we're gonna have to pay each of those locations, $300. So twice a year.
In the past, the county paid that?
Well, we paid it, then the county was supposed to take over and something changed and.
Well, yes, they were supposed to take over, they were supposed to pay everything election related, and we weren't supposed to have to pay anything. And they told us they were paying it in 2024, and they didn't pay it. So then the fire company said, how come we didn't get it? And it's like, well, the county was supposed to pay you, and then the county came back with, the election commissioner came back with, the new election commissioner came back with, we don't pay that. It's not our responsibility, and
There are, and I don't know if this is the excuse behind it, but. You look at the change in fees for the assessment agreement, there were some agreements made under the previous county administrator. That didn't, they were handshake agreements and never showed up in contracts. And now that he's moved on, the new administrator is not honoring them or honoring them when they can provide a paper trail that they were agreed upon. So I think this might actually be part of that as well.
could be. Could be.
So anyway,
Okay.
we have to move on to $1,800 because that's what it's gonna actually cost us. You see, we modified, $1,900 we had to pay for a phone line extension at the Mecklenburg Fire Hall for was deemed necessary by the Board of Elections. That was $100 charge. That won't be there again. Records management is another position that, another line that the town clerk tax collector will be paid out of. We reduced this to $2,000 for the new individual. Contractual is what the records management officer can spend to do. Use example, Jane has some old, from the 1800 school records that she's having restored and preserved for the town, and will come out of this line. So we're gonna keep that, because it's a big project every year, have some money to,
And the storage,
oh yeah,
the storage for, at the county for the record storage building. I haven't been billed for it this year yet, so. That's usually $500. Comes out of that line. We also I did send, I don't know if you remember a couple years ago, that map that was retrieved out of somebody's trash pile that was here. I have sent that with the gentleman from Co-File so that they can do an assessment on it for what would be the true cost to restore it, and be able to give us a document that we would be able to frame and put up on a wall, because it is from 1854 as near as we can tell.
Yeah.
But it is a full county map.
Cool. How big is it?
It's on a roller thing, not quite as big as that
strange.
screen up there, but it's on an old metal roller thing, so. But it's got a laminated top on it, which is, that's how they did some of those maps back in the 1800s, so. They need to do a test on it, so he's taken it, there's no charge for us to have the test done. And if we decide at that point we don't wanna move forward with trying to do anything with that map, they'll just bring it back to us and there's no charge. But they'll test it to see what that laminate surface is and how difficult it would be to remove it. The problem is the paper itself the map has a linen backing, and then it has that laminate top. The heart of the map is still in really good condition. It's beginning to deteriorate on the edges, and it's beginning to get more brittle, so we don't dare open and close it on that roll very much. So we're gonna get the test done and see where they're at, and then you, the board, will have to make a decision whether we proceed with it or not.
How long will it take them to get this?
A couple weeks or so before I hear anything back on the testing. So I'm hoping before we complete this budget that we might have some sort of an answer, and you guys can make a decision whether it's something, no, just bring it back for now, we'll do it in the future, or whatever, but
I think this is a. If it comes back, if it's at all reasonable. We either use some of the fund balance to repair it, or we budget, or we maybe do it 50-50 or something like this, because it's a really cool
That's great.
item for us to have and maintain within the town.
These are the-
Someday when we have a new town hall, it'd be pretty neat to have that hanging on the wall for people when they walk in, they like to see.
because it does take us back to not when we were organized, but it takes us back to when Schuyler County was organized and we became a part of Schuyler County.
Oh, really? We weren't it wasn't Tompkins County then?
No, this map, it
Right.
shows Schuyler County.
It's cool.
So it's one of the first early maps that has the whole county. So if we chose that it's too much, then there's other options to maybe get the county to help, but then the county would probably wanna take that map.
Hmm.
So.
Hmm.
We're having it looked at anyway, that's where we're at.
So long story short, that's what that line is. Moving on, town hall, shared services, and the cleaner. Obviously. That line doesn't add up necessarily for where it's going to be, but if you look at past. You look at 2023, we were pretty close, and our current cleaner. Saying she's going to retire, and will probably be more expensive to replace than. What we are currently charged, so I'm gonna keep that line, or suggest we keep that line.
What's the equipment?
I was gonna say,
The
what's your?
equipment line is a new telephone system for this
That's what we
building,
did that, okay.
and I have 3 different quotes, we don't have to decide it now. But the telephone system in this building is out of date, the telephones themselves are irreplaceable, obsolete, and so we have quotes. With all cloud-based services, that's where everybody is gone, and basically have to decide. We have 3 choices, and we should get communications committee together and make a decision on which route to go,
Yes, let's do that.
but all of the funds fall at that or slightly less, so that's why.
This is something that we could transfer to a new town hall location.
These telephones, actually, yes, we could.
Yes.
In fact, the way these telephones work, if you were working here and you were gonna work from home on Mondays, you could take your telephone system home and work from your house, they're internet
There's that-
based,
Oh,
and it'll ring at your house, it'll ring here, they're pretty impressive.
Huh.
So you absolutely can take them with us. The other thing that'll be nice about this is we will be giving up all of the phone lines coming in except for one that's tied to the security system and the fire alarm
Right, so the serious.
and the fax, excuse me.
Okay, yes, the fax machine, the security system, fire alarm system are all tied to that 5200 number, which is where the fax machine. That would stay. The highway department line item at 5288 would stay.
No,
and
that would go away. They've updated that too.
That's not what we talked about.
Yeah, that would go away.
I don't want.
Well, we can go through the quote.
No.
That- My understanding, the only line that would go, they will program it, it'll come through the phone separately. They can do that. Their concern was the fire alarm over there. We'll still have a separate ring that
The fire-
only rings over there.
Right, but I think the fire alarm system over there is also tied to the 5200
yeah.
because a line goes from
Yep.
here to there. For that, but. Losing the 88
No, we'll
number,
still have 8.8, it'll just won't be, we don't have to have, because we're not gonna have any of the actual lines, it's all gonna be
Oh,
ported on the internet.
right, that's true.
That's what I mean
true.
by, we're not gonna lose any of our,
I'm with you, I know
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
I know,
so here's the
What
confusion,
percentage
we won't be paying for. The telephone line to come in, we'll be paying for the internet to come in, and all of it will go over the internet,
right, so the highway will still have the 88 line
yes.
to answer
we
things
won't lose
there.
any of the extensions.
We won't lose
But
any.
no,
except-
currently we're paying for what, 4 phone lines and
Yeah.
we're only gonna have to pay for 1.
So,
Right,
Okay.
and the service is gonna be. No more than those 4 phone lines, probably less. Monthly,
Hmm.
depending on which route we go, we can either go, there's either a flat you buy the phones. Or lease the phones and you have to pay a rate. But we can, like I said, communications can get together and talk about that.
And what's the next one, the shared services contract, something,
That is all the expenses of maintaining the building.
And it's.
You mean that's
Oh,
phone,
It's
internet?
postage, it's office supplies, it's the electric bill, the propane bill,
okay, it.
the cleaning supplies, the. Anything this building should
Right.
need.
I was thinking it was a person and
Nope.
No,
Stuff.
no, the 0.4
stuff.
is a pile of stuff that comes out of that, like our internet, our phones, our.
Okay,
all that.
Salaries are usually always
The
point.
copier.
Yep.
The copier, the toner,
Yeah.
the.
Yep,
0.1 extension.
all right.
I think it's 0.11 you said.
Central printing and mailing, that's legal notices, as it says.
And
And
we
then
never know, yeah, you have to have a number, we never know really what it's gonna be for what we advertise.
Website is way less than it was in 2023 and 2024.
Mhm.
Yep.
Why was it? I
Because
mean,
switching to revise.
the news is that much cheaper.
And I haven't seen a,
Well
Price for
done,
next
communications
I haven't
committee.
either. They usually do
Mhm.
go up by maybe a couple $100, so.
right,
well, we can change that or we can cover it out of contingency.
right. So 1,800, I think,
We'll cover most of all of it.
is what we had to pay for this year, so.
That was their big push for, I feel like it was a multi-year game, too, about 1,800. They wanted us to make the switch. What's it, you're right. Right, does that sound familiar?
It could be, but
But I went to the AI seminar thing, and they were just trying to push it on products.
I'm sure they.
yeah, and I was afraid that's what that was.
It was.
I didn't
it
ask
wasn't-
you.
It wasn't very good.
Okay. Yeah. They
didn't
just
fool
want you to-
you, or
The
sad.
guy that we saw in New York would be better.
Good.
That had this, but that's what we're gonna spend, we're gonna do AI optimization for the website.
The computer, this is gonna be for the new, this is considerably less than it has been because we're only purchasing one computer this cycle. It's a new computer for the water clerk, so this price is 500 and the other 500 of it is buried in the water bill.
What you didn't think about, you gotta have a printer.
Don't they have
Right,
it?
but
Oh, just average.
because no, the printer the new printer. Yes, was the one that she was gonna, when she ran out of toner for the one that she's got, that printer has issues.
Mhm.
So. There may need to be another printer out there.
Can't
Because you
share the
can't leave-
printer.
If the deputy clerk, you attach to the deputy clerk's computer. And water billing has to get the new one that's coming in. Because attached to the current computer that Lori has that does the water billing and does the rest of the, other half of whatever the deputy clerk has to do. The remote deposit is attached to that computer. So rather than fighting with updating the remote deposit stuff, the new computer order needs to be for water billing. Needs to go to the water
Yeah,
for, but then she's got that brand new printer sitting there for water. You may need something to replace the printer that she currently is using if it fails. And it has been showing signs of moaning and groaning and doing things that it shouldn't, so. There might need to
Turn it off,
be,
restart it.
there might need to be a printer in next year, which you can probably handle out of contingency or just,
yeah, but it's important to keep
it's
that.
important to know there may need to be another, more than just a portion of the computer on that line.
Okay. That is useful, yeah. The computer software maintenance contracts, you see an increase. They sent us a letter saying that they were increasing everything, so went through the different contracts and worked in the increase, so it's goes from 4,500 to 4,800.
It feels like a big jump though from 2,500 in 2027, 2024. I mean, I know we don't really have a choice,
Are
but
you sure that number?
it's like double what it was.
That's
2 years
good.
ago.
Maintenance,
Well, we picked up a couple, no, we haven't picked up anything.
I mean, this is all the Williamson law books.
Yeah,
Did you,
oh,
no, is it?
yeah, this 1680.
you know why it went up? It went up because we modified the budget because we went.
We want them all
It-
paid
it-
the same month.
but that meant some of them were prorated and some of them weren't. So we
Right.
paid a bunch, so that price probably isn't accurate because it included all the prorating.
Right.
So we'll have to look at that. And
So everybody renews in January.
now
so-
everybody's gonna be renewing in January, so it's gonna,
Do one bill.
because some of them we had to pay for like 2 or 3 months and the new,
Mhm.
some we had to pay almost the entire year and then plus the new one.
Mhm.
So we'll have to look. at
So some of these we might be basically paid 2 years on some of them.
Right. Pretty close, so I'll have to look at that before if we sign off on that one.
Yeah, that one may be questionable whether it's enough.
So. The insurance isn't really dropping, you can see what we actually spent in 2025, it's 103,781. We had budgeted 122,670 because that was based on. The quote we had been received. The year before, did some shopping and got better insurance rate for the town for 2025. So their increase is, off of that 103, not off of the 122, so that does include an increase. But it's a decrease on the budget. That makes sense, should be about a 9% increase.
I mean, that 103 figure is only till August, does that make it?
Well,
the
we
year?
paid everything.
That was the year's figure?
yeah.
Okay,
So it's one other thing you're doing, 13.
Yep,
yeah,
because we found, like I said, the broker shopped it and found significantly reduced.
Mhm.
This is specifically health insurance or this?
No,
No,
that's,
this is
that's our liability and public
Automotive,
officers,
public officers, the vehicles.
yeah,
everything.
yeah. So your liability, your equipment and structures and. Everything that's not water district. Water district
And actually.
has a line item in
We
there.
we have in the past, and we're gonna redo this year, the. Codes officers should be paying, that should be budgeted out of the also. For the vehicle. Don't be worried, that's not your fault. That money should just be coming, and we did, and then it didn't happen for a year or two, and we're getting that back under your line.
Yeah.
Cause we
that's
do
good.
water, B should be separate as
Yeah, his car should come out of the.
contingent account, I dropped a bit more.
what is that?
It's like
No, what is it?
emergency fund.
Yeah, well,
Oh.
emergency or you don't budget enough.
It's like
Is
a
it-
buffer,
Yeah, it's a-
buffer fund.
And the.
I guess the
We
question
need-
is why,
We need a new printer for.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess the question is why
Gotcha.
why did you drop it? Cause we haven't used,
Well, we used a bunch of it, but the effort is, the better we budget the other numbers. The less contingency you should need.
Right,
The other side of it is we do have. Not that it's the best way to approach it, but we do have significant fund balance in A, so if we were to get. Needed 18,000 for the 15,000, we do have other resources. But the goal in my mind is to try to tighten up the actual budget, so that contingency can.
wasn't paying attention.
Like, if we're over budgeting everything, we've thrown this huge fund balance, and then we're throwing another 20,000 on top of it. Doesn't make sense to me.
If you're gonna be on screen, I'm gonna have to be let back in.
What happened,
Baby
Jane?
died, I didn't realize it.
You were plugged in?
I wasn't plugged in, I thought it had enough battery life, but apparently it did not.
No, mine never did either. I tried that one too.
I can go about 2 hours, but if our meeting goes longer than that, it's like,
Oh, yeah.
no.
Yours is brand new, who knows?
I know, who knows this new one, probably I didn't need to find.
No.
Our, next page, page 4. Public safety. We have nothing in, this line.
We have 0 public safety.
That's not good, huh?
Yeah, oh,
This is, some of these lines would be under, the highway superintendent. His wife is ill and he has to be excused tonight, so. Traffic control is fairly straightforward. Equipment is essentially hand tools. The contractual is the money we spend on paint for the roads.
The line striping,
The orange striping, we increased it a couple years ago so that we could have 2 totes instead of 1. He feels strongly we should keep it at that for another year. We maxed out and have spent about $8,500 of that contractual, so that's 2 totes.
Oh, so 10,000 should be enough. for
Should be
the-
enough even with an increase in the paint. It was nice, I don't know, I know, Liz, you actually live on a road that I don't think's ever had a center stripe before,
It's very exciting.
so, we
Well,
had.
that's you can't drive like this anymore.
Well, you know,
You still can.
we had for 20 years spent the same amount of money and we have
Yeah.
doubled the amount of roads that are paved.
Yeah, they're
so,
for striping now, it's exciting.
yes. Signs only is sign blank,
Talk about that straight job on, so.
sign blanks and sign.
Yeah, that's great.
Where it like goes off to
Yeah.
the side.
I'm sorry, say it again. Signs only.
Signs only is sign blanks and sign related items. We have only spent through the end of August about $730, so I dropped this a bit. We buy sign blanks, the county prints them for us, the county doesn't charge us for it, so our sign expenses are actually pretty minimum.
Can you let me back in?
Yep, you're all set now. Sorry, I saw it pop up.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Down here, control contractual. It's basically what the clerk needs to spend to get fresh, dog tags. The $7,000 we put in last year was when we thought we might have to pay Scotland County Humane Society. Significantly additional money.
So what we're going to do is go back to the, STAC will be paid monthly based on what's collected for dog licenses that month. So the check will come back out of the town clerk's account instead of a separate check.
Wait, so you're saying instead of paying per dog that goes there, they're
Right.
just gonna get a
We will
per
do both. We'll pay per dog if. To date, we haven't paid for any dogs because everybody who's had a dog collected, they pay for the money. We would pay if the dog stays over 5 days and nobody redeems their dog or adopts their dog, we would pay for it. And then sort of as a added bonus, because they have baseline expenses, even if he never picked up a dog for the entire year, he has to maintain the facility.
Sure,
So
right.
we're gonna be making that contribution to cover him maintaining the
So he'll
facility,
get-
provide our services.
So they'll get the 70% of the dog license fees that we used to always pay out for shelter purposes. So thinking about that per dog fee,
We should put another 500.
I think you might wanna take that up 500, only because.
Yep.
I'm a little worried about there not being enough,
I'm okay with that.
so put that to 1,500.
Okay, so. Highway superintendent. Scott's requesting 3.5% increase. Pretty straightforward. I'm not sure why that happened.
So we don't sit with him for a negotiation.
Well, he came and sat with me, like I said,
Okay.
we can bring it back up during the highway,
Portion.
portion if you'd like to. he asked to be excused tonight. So,
I see, okay, that's it.
yeah, as you can see,
Mhm.
the other department heads are here, normally they are, but because of what was happening, we asked to be excused. Highway account clerk. I'm not sure why this one went up 30 also. That refused exactly what I said to you earlier. That most of it was supposed to be absorbed in the account clerk side, so I'm going to have to look into that more. To be honest with you,
Yeah, this one was supposed to go down.
this was gonna say flat or go down, so I have to look into that, the question mark. Then his contractual lines,
Not much gets spent out of that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what, that's not very much money, what is?
No, mostly it would be conference or something, training, something like that. Like if he went to conference or if he went to Albany for legislative days or something like that, that's where that would come out of, so. There's never been a whole lot spent on that line in the past.
hey, we jump down to garage, personnel services. This line really doesn't get used very much anymore. And you are aware or not aware, there are a bunch of different lines that the highway department gets paid out of. This is one of them. This used to be if they did work in or on the garage, they would charge a couple hours to this line, but we have spent this line little or nothing. We're trying to realign how the money is partitioned out of the lines that they're paid, and so this one we keep shrinking because they're just not really spending it, so down to $2,000.
It's like if they were to do a repair on the recycling building or the highway barn.
Hand tool line, I think it's fairly self-explanatory. And then contractual, we dropped a little bit because it doesn't look like it's gonna get any close to 27,000.
What's under that? The garage. What's-
Heat, phone,
Well,
internet,
yes, but your heat and your electric are the two big items.
Mhm.
But then out of that 0.4, the cell phones, their internet, the cell phones, their electricity, their heat,
But if the roof failed, it would be
yes,
something out of that,
so,
that or repair reserve.
okay,
yeah,
I mean, that's
um,
a possible.
there's a ton of things that come out of there.
Mhm.
Like their first aid supplies.
Yeah, so this year-
Paper products, office supplies, there's a lot of stuff that comes out of that 5132.4.
If you lowered it though, why isn't it a -15?
Well, we modified the budget
Oh,
because they had to replace all of their first aid gear earlier this year. It was out of, some of it was significantly out of date. So
so it goes, the 15 is off the adopted budget, not the
Yeah.
modified.
Yeah.
budget.
yep,
But the
Yeah,
real.
good noticing.
27,
Hmm.
okay.
that's what we modified it to. We've actually spent so far 24. So 22, so we added extra money to it so that we don't have to do it again. Or the goal was, we had some sort of, I think we're on a system now where they are in a program where the company kind of like, that does the clothing, that will come in and update their first aid gear, because we had been buying it and then nobody was watching it, and then we got cited. Because all of it was, in some cases, 5, 6, 8 years past its expiration date. We fixed that, hopefully. Street lighting contractual should be, I think, fairly self-explanatory.
Yeah, I think there's only 5 streetlights in the home.
How come it's so much less?
Well, because I think one of the streetlights is out and hasn't. I know.
Put up LED lights too.
And it's out.
Oh, yeah, that helps.
When the structure at Hector Union Cemetery burned,
Yes,
There was a light on it.
cut the power to the street light.
Hmm,
And why, we don't know, because that wasn't power that was feeding them. There's no electric in that building. So we don't know why they cut the power to the street light, because the street light wasn't on fire. But so that street light hasn't worked since that fire, so that's why it's gone down.
There's a street light out there.
The radio services are route for the highway, talking to Scott today, he's gonna be getting 2 to 3 radios. Out of this year's, the 25 budget, and is asking for the same amount for 26. There's a handful of trucks that don't have any radios. And this is another item that has kind of been overlooked, so we're trying to do some updating.
Does it work
They've
better
gotten
than
new
cell
equipment,
phones?
They've gotten new equipment and
Yep.
they haven't put new radios in it.
Exactly.
And those are more efficient than cell phones these days?
In a lot of parts of the town,
Yeah.
yes.
But
And
still parts,
also-
yeah, I knew-
The radio, we talk on one radio, every radio hears it.
Oh, right. Where's the tower for that?
They don't have a tower.
Why not?
Don't need it
Why not?
because it goes from radio to radio.
These are like,
But, okay, so if you're in a dead area, you may not pick up somebody else's radio? Which
There-
there
there's
must
only-
be some of those.
There is.
Not-
I can't try to
There is-
understand how.
Yeah,
it
there is
works.
a spot, but
There
not
was a
many.
spot, Peach Orchard. Down part of Peach Orchard, because Hank Bond got stuck on Peach Orchard at one point in time. And he kept trying to radio and his calls weren't coming back here, they were bouncing off over to the other side of the lake.
there's less
And-
dead areas on these radios than there are dead areas with cell
For
service.
self service,
Yeah.
okay,
so in the end, did he have to call on his cell phone to get help?
Well, his
Yeah.
wife called.
go knock
He
on.
didn't have a cell phone.
His wife called and said, can somebody check on him, because he's trying to radio for help and nobody's answering him.
Oh, that's
And
sweet.
she could hear, something from the county, like she had like a
Oh.
radio,
Scanner,
a scanner.
and you
So
could
she
hear
could
the
hear it on
highway.
the scanner,
That's
we
really
were
funny.
hearing it on the scanner here. Because he was out of, we weren't picking it up.
a
No
good thing she was
secret, no
keeping
secret
track.
on the
So yeah,
highway.
we got help, but he was stuck on, down on the lower part of Peach Orchard.
Okay,
All right, now we're up to
Mallory, your wait is over.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my gosh.
well,
Smith Park, do you guys bring a budget of your own written down beyond what's on these numbers, or do you,
these
we can
supplied,
give you an explanation of each one.
these kind of supplies the budget.
Manager, pretty self-explanatory. We're keeping, the lines fairly stable. We moved a little money from Smith Park lifeguard laborers to Smith Park labor office. That's why you see pretty much straight change there.
Is that because the civil service lifeguards can't work in the office?
Correct.
Which
And
we used to have them do.
Yep, they used to cross over, now we can't, we have discussed the possibility of, assuming Maureen wants to come
Lifeguards have
back,
to
which
work
would
in
be
the
great.
office.
Having a second, even, significant,
Third.
third very part-time person there that could.
Overlap hours and
Yep.
things and.
Yeah, so the idea is to have Mallory full-time year-round, Maureen part-time. Year-round, and then have another third person who comes in during June, July, like mid-June until Labor Day, like the peak season, so it could be a high schooler or college student back. Just because there's gaps between Mallory and Maureen, like they hardly even saw each other, so they couldn't really talk, so to have people who are a third person there will help. Just also when you have like 12 campers coming in on Fridays, it would be nice if you're not one person having to do it.
It's busy, yeah.
Campers, or them all leaving on Sunday,
Yeah.
so yeah.
nice? So is that enough money on those lines? I mean, cause it's not that, but it's even with last year. So if you
Well, if
wanna
you take a look.
hire
at,
more people,
This is expenditures through the end of August. The lifeguard laborers, we didn't have any expenditures for them after August, so there's 13,000. Smith Park Labor Office, we didn't come anywhere close in the last, in her last day was on
The
August first.
October first.
October
was-
first, so she's still got a month.
So she has a month on here, but we didn't spend that much money in a month. The other thing is with it being, all point ones, we can move around within the point one if we do a move and see. So I think we're.
so you guys actually could have hired more people this year. I mean, there was money on the line.
We
Was to
kind of
have,
forgot about it.
and our goal has been to have an additional lifeguard, at least one more than we had, which
Mhm.
we need to work on.
And the lifeguards left earlier.
I
than we
am
expected,
curious
too.
why the Mech Park labor, I mean, we've only expended $1,200 and we're bumping it up 500.
But we're working on finding that. Pay, because it's not. Things like he's not claiming the family time, stuff like that, going net, so it's that. It can be refined more and more should be. Placed on mech versus. That's all.
That's Jason's mowing time.
Yeah. Yeah, really not very much. Can put in any time.
Yeah, I'm curious because if you have something not
Yeah.
expended, maybe they're not.
Oh, yeah. Smith Park equipment. You can see there is a significant bump there from this past year. And you bring the equipment list that we discussed.
I had my little sketch list, but I didn't actually.
I have the list of what we built into that.
I have a majority of the thing.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, swim lines for the swim beach. That's one thing. Picnic tables. Try and get some more picnic tables. There's front forks for the tractor and an auger. We're gonna look into getting a couple of those. Let's see, sand for the swim beach is in there somewhere.
Which we got the permit for today.
Yes, which I gotta do, I gotta look at that, make sure that there isn't a couple other things that needs to be done with this. But
Sand shouldn't come out of the point two on. It's not a piece of equipment,
Okay.
so sand should come out of the
Okay.
point four. Yeah, because it's not something that's gonna last more than a year.
right,
Okay.
okay. Grills for pavilions, we're looking at getting a couple grills for each of the pavilions, one for each.
Nice.
A large
Bigger,
group grill.
larger
type of-
group grill for each pavilion.
Cool.
And a credit card machine in there somewhere as well, we're still working on that. See what we can do about credit card machine. And that's about all I have for machinery.
It was fire rings.
Yeah.
Fire rings, yep,
Yeah.
that's another
Kind
one.
of start replacing the fire rings with actual fire rings.
Cool.
Wasn't there more?
And then there was some, well,
Not a building,
The
not the
water
building.
spigots, I don't know.
Yeah, water spigots and all
That
that.
goes
We should-
in that one.
yeah,
Can.
we'll definitely need some.
Hydrants,
Hydrants.
yeah. And then,
But not the building. I
No,
mean, that's from a different line.
yeah. There won't be any extension on, well, the contractual, that'll come out of the contractual line that we just,
That 0.23 on it should.
yep.
I can't remember, what was the date on the bid for the building?
We have about 2 more.
It's 2 more days.
I think it's tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Oh, the
That's-
new building, sorry.
10th.
for the,
I thought you were talking about.
no, tomorrow,
That's the excavation.
yeah, that's the excavation for his campsite improvement. And then we were waiting on drawings for
Yeah.
that.
It's gone sign. Yeah, they're gonna pull us to.
Right, and, there is a, that was advertising.
I don't know, but I have a
Because we said you could have them.
That's
I
right.
thought I would, cause I got a yes, absolutely. you can
So
certainly
that
grab it.
RFP, that bid, it's not an RFP for the building. That is a straight bid, so that does have a big opening date, but I've never.
You
seen
put it in, you put it in? I mean, you wanna put it in highlights?
Yeah, cause I was told,
Oh, yeah.
I,
Well, maybe they'll just be showing the one we have. That's what we have.
Well, they haven't, nobody's requested, but.
I haven't had
I
anybody
didn't,
ask
I didn't
anything.
see it in highlights. Was it supposed to be the week after the excavation one?
Yep,
Oh, I didn't notice it there.
well. It was there, it was
Okay.
put there.
It was supposed to be there, you know.
It-
Do you ever
it
cut those
wasn't
out when
offered to
when we
you.
have those, Jane? Do you, as a matter of course, cut them out and save them out
I
of the
get,
papers?
because they are a bid and it's a legal thing, I do. If we co-advertise them between the Watkins Review, which is our legal paper, and the highlights, yes, I do keep them out of the highlights. And
Okay,
for the Watkins Review, when we do those, we get an actual signed proof of publication.
well, I knew at least one group that was contractor that was interested in when that came out.
Because did you,
I mean, they were,
that, I don't have it out here, if I go get it, I can. Cause there was a date they were supposed to. Didn't you have a date set?
Yeah. Nobody came to meet for that either, did they?
I haven't, not for the, I have not
For the
heard
pole barn.
anything about the pole barn. I've had lots of,
it's on
I got one bid today from Wolverton
the excavation stuff.
for the campsite improvement projects.
Yeah.
So,
You've
But
only
the
got
pole-
one on there?
yeah, but it's due tomorrow.
Right.
Afternoon,
Right.
so
But the,
I'm hoping that I will have another one by tomorrow.
what was the bid the guy dropped off today?
That was for I forget what you call it, but for the.
The hold in front of the camera, we'll see.
The bathroom,
Upgrade
yep,
in the men's room.
yes, the
Oh.
urinal to toilet situation.
Oh, okay.
And the
Right.
stall doors and stuff for the showers that we want
Oh, okay,
to put in.
all right.
I got one quote from them, from one contractor, still looking for another one,
Oh,
but
you've been taking that from.
I know.
Winter.
But you were, the advertisement for the pole barn bid package had a showing date in it.
Mm-hmm. Let me go get it.
Yeah, cause I can't, cause I didn't remember seeing it.
We're still waiting for the.
I did
I thought we were,
Before we
when the
put it
desi-
out.
yeah,
I was told to put it out on a certain date, and I did it.
Well, we expected that would be
You're talking
something
about the
that.
bid on the.
Never got. Nobody applied.
there's been no
Not
interest in
that.
it. It got put out, but we also don't have the
Yeah, cause it went out the same
That's
time.
finished, not at the same time, supposed to be a week later, if we gotten the designs.
Right.
And
Right, yeah, yeah.
that's the way I understood it, but I guess Jane understood it, is get it out because the design will come.
I could see that.
So she did. But I didn't see it in highlights and I don't get the review.
You don't get our paper of report?
No, no.
Oh my God. You're missing out. The best part is the news from 150 years ago.
100 years ago.
That's
That's
the
really
best,
fun.
that's the best part of the
What
paper.
really worries me is when they say things like 25 years ago and I'm
And
like,
you remember?
"Wait, I was there.
Uh-huh.
What happened on the national
Uh-huh.
forest?"
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm starting to remember.
Yeah.
The campsite proposal ones is due, they are due,
Mark,
No,
Change it
they
from
would-
Wednesday to Friday and then
Yeah.
tomorrow at noon.
Well,
Because,
that's not what got advertised.
well, only
Your
people
request-
showed up.
Alright, so your proposal submission date on campsite improvements was yesterday at 4 p.m. and nothing ever came in to me, so. If you changed it, nobody told me. And what went in the paper was October 8th. For the campsite improvements, but that's just an RFP, so whatever you do with it, right? But the bid for the storage barn. Went in the paper to run September 24th, and you had September 29th at 9 a.m. as a pre-bid meeting. And sealed bids are supposed to be in by 1 p.m. tomorrow. The bid opening at 1 p.m.
Nobody showed up, this is probably nobody's gonna put it in the bid.
Maybe you're not gonna get anybody bidding on it, I don't know, I mean, it's out there, but. Your solar one, by the way, I did open, and I told all of you I opened it because.
Yeah.
Nobody else but me was here at 1 o'clock on the 7th.
Mhm.
So,
Open in it.
Mhm.
all we have, it has.
We didn't get one from. Alco?
Nope,
No,
Just that one.
Wow.
you've got just this one, which I brought
Apparently it's a
tonight.
tough time to get bids.
so that you can, whatever, so. I opened it 20 minutes after
You gave
lunch
tw-
when nobody else showed up.
you gave 20 minutes leeway. Good, well. Thanks for opening, Jane.
I thought somebody would have, on the board would at least show up one and say, what do we get, but.
we had complete faith in you to handle it.
Complete faith.
Apparently, so, all right, so where are we at?
Also, they email you the amount they're gonna bid in advance, you know, so it's not like a giant surprise.
We got the rest of you.
Okay,
The equipment line. Yeah, 500, but we don't think we're gonna get anything. Equipment that's like, oh, excuse me,
Small.
Mac Park
Nick
equipment.
Parks, yeah.
We kept that same, that's mower blades or anything small like that, we're not gonna be purchasing,
Anything big?
yeah. Um, Park property upgrade,
Wait, what's the part cap?
capital improvement, that's. That's what we spent on the agreement, or excuse me, the contract for. The architect for that's the capital improvement line.
Okay.
Which we don't have anything set to spend on that this time,
Okay.
so that's what.
So you wouldn't put other capital improvement projects in there,
Well, there is,
like the campsite excavation or? the
that's what I put
park?
under park property upgrade.
Okay. So that's the campsite improvement project?
Yeah,
Well, just so you know, the one quote we have come in so far, it's not quite that amount.
I can tell you.
Because when you're paying prevailing wage,
well,
it's because it's no longer the owners. it's-
For 32,000.
if it's 32,000, we can't accept it, we have to bid it anyway.
It's over the threshold.
It's our first quote. That was the same amount of work that we got for 5 years, so, yeah, from the owner.
Wow. Somebody else owns the business now?
Yeah, and these are all owners with
Owner
employees, so
operators.
that's prevailing wage.
Hmm.
When if you're an owner operator, you don't have to pay.
You have to pay yourself the prevailing wage. The one man bad.
And that's,
Yeah, that's gonna.
yeah, so if we wanna go that route, then we have to also double the.
Unless you.
break it.
Unless you break it down,
Down.
smaller packages, to
Smaller.
find a.
Yeah.
Is that broken down? Didn't we request to be broken down?
He has it broken down.
Cause you could choose to do one part of it.
Websites.
We did have it broken down.
Material, nothing, equipment, 20,000, labor. all
Oh,
that
he
stuff.
broke, no, maybe we didn't know we didn't break.
He
Down
didn't
by
break it
section.
down by the section like you asked for it in the RFP.
Like job section, campsite section.
You have,
not by price, no.
We'll see how the other ones come in.
Yeah, well. I mean, we can change that line. I was working off of the last few years thinking 15,000 and smaller number of campsite taps. We didn't have sort of a smaller number than we had to. So,
No, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see.
how do we want to change that?
I think so. I think we've had I don't think we're gonna get what we. So that just is the excavation project,
That was just excavation.
and then maybe we wanna go 30,000.
If it's 30,000 or more, we're gonna have to bid it out, which means
29,500.
Well, we could, but we
Well,
could do.
30,000 could be
spring and
for,
some in the-
I mean,
we
they
do
could be for
15,000.
different projects, right? Not just one project every year for 30, but it could be,
well, that's it, or if they bid properly, because that was supposed, in the RFP, it asked to have it broken down by. So we could say, we'll spend $20,000 and we'll take three
I
out
mean-
of the 5.
does that include the gravel and everything, or
No.
we specify we're gonna provide that,
We.
like we did before? Okay.
That, the he. Is the 32 for just labor? Or does that include the bond?
There's equipment and labor. Equipment
Yeah.
itself is 20,000. Labor is 88 an hour, so it's 11,000. A day.
Okay, yeah.
Or
On top of that,
32
is the
hours is
gravel.
what they calculated.
Hmm.
It doesn't break it down. He broke it down as to how much material and everything you would need of like number 2 stone or wire or things like that, but he didn't leave any prices with it.
Because that's unfortunate. Because if we had. Different prices for the.
Yeah.
5 different projects, we could say we can afford.
Well, you
do
can,
This one,
A and B,
one,
right?
and, yeah.
It's
you can
not-
tell him that.
okay,
You
but-
could tell him that you'd like to hire him, but
But
he,
here's your thing, because you've got, fill type and amount needed, so you're asking him to identify that for each of the campsites. But you didn't put a dollar cost
That's
for
true.
each of these, so. Partially that then would be why he didn't break it.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
He did it all as one whole.
Yep.
Project
Yep,
and
so
now.
he did what we asked.
It's what we asked for, we just asked for it.
So you might wanna, you might wanna redo this and.
Would love to, would love to redo it all.
That's, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
it actually doesn't seem like if he broke it down by material amount. It might just be a phone call to say, hey,
You
we have
could ask them.
$20,000 to
It's gonna
spend.
be all, phone call all 3 of them, so all 3 give it.
But didn't you say you only have one right now? One person?
Yeah, but we have 3 people to come to the, pre-bid.
Well, you could call
And they
them
all
before they
three-
submit their bid and say, hey, can you break down price per campsite for us? Cause if they are writing down materials on there, it might just be a matter of them doing the math.
It's due tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow at noon.
Tomorrow after,
So-
well, it doesn't say noon, it says afternoon, so.
Oh.
I
meant
know,
to say
I
at
know.
noon. Okay.
Double checked.
Okay.
Okay. That's also.
You do it.
What'd you say?
So do you do it?
Yeah. Hey, can I ask you a question about Smith Park contractual A7110.4?
Yep.
Just seems like that line's been up and down all over the place, like in 2023, it was only 60,621. 2024 it was almost 80,000. Like, and then we budgeted for 70,000 this year. Can you just?
So that includes the tree service, which we've been spending.
Okay,
We have a $5,000 estimate for electrical upgrades. NICEAG, water, this was hard numbers that we sat in the office and worked on. And I actually came up with $68,000 based on what we talked about as a group and I rounded it up. to seven.
Okay, good. Oh, just
Well-
checking that it was based on a thing.
And last year was actually, we had the emergency trees takedown,
Yeah.
that was unexpected, so about how we lost.
Higher than it would have
Yeah,
been.
so almost everything, the park budget is broken down into payroll, I mean, in-house with payroll, and then you have, almost everything else goes under contractual. Almost everything goes under that line item.
Right.
But I do have a concern about 70,000, because right now, if you do the math on it, on this as of September 9th. We are at 70,000 right now, and we have 3 months left. So it seems. Can't imagine. We're gonna go over 7,000 this year,
Okay,
so then it just seems like,
But our budget for this year is 75,000.
Right, so it probably needs to go back up to that.
yeah, that's what I'm
It probably
thinking,
needs to stay at 75.
Mhm.
that's what I'm
At
thinking.
least,
all right.
What was the conclusion on the upgrade? Were we raising it back?
On the counter out by the fax machine.
I wrote it in for 30,000 and we can look
Yeah.
at the whole numbers and then when we start shaving, we can. decide.
That's the 0.23 line?
Yep.
You make, gonna make it 30?
And then the t-shirts, there is an error there.
There is an error there because we budgeted for it and it should have come out and it was
Yeah.
circled back because.
We'll have
I
to
need
do that and
to
then.
fix that.
Oh,
So there's,
okay, so the t-shirts were probably paid out of the 0.4 line because
Yes.
I probably did not know there was a separate t-shirt line.
yeah, so we did, it's about $1,600 for the t-shirts. Last year, and we do hope to have to buy.
I know, I was gonna say, why don't we have a budget for it this year?
yeah, we
Because there
should.
was just the idea that it looked like we hadn't, but with that 2000's been in there forever.
Yeah, so
And
there
we
is
didn't
one,
buy t-shirts,
there is-
but
we,
this year we actually did buy t-shirts,
we have budgeted for that so many times that
yeah.
we could
Oh, you're saying,
justify paying, if we needed to order t-shirts again, we could justify paying for that out of fund balance, saying that we taxed for it.
I mean, that's fine too, I don't,
I mean, we got the
Just want to
t-shirts,
figure
if
it
we
out.
still have those, we could get something different like sweatshirts or hats. We still wanna have money in there.
Well, there is like residual money that's sitting in there. 'cause
Oh,
we have
okay.
Budgeted for that,
Yeah,
we just
So
have,
it's
this is
in
the
fund
first
balance.
thin fund balance.
so what do we keep that at, 0 or?
We'll leave it at 0 with the
Okay.
assumption that we,
With the fund.
Will that make it tricky for us next year, though, for this line to have been 0? Like, do we wanna put something on the line?
no, it should be okay.
so,
We
and
can-
then where's the pole barn come out of?
We were gonna pay for that out of fund balance,
Okay,
so I didn't budget for it.
okay, I'm just
That
making
was
sure.
for the
that that's
conversation.
still-
But like, there's not a building fund line that we would put money in to spend it?
That would be Smith Park capital upgrades
Okay,
up there at 7110.21. The next part contractual, we had budgeted for this year for $500. We spent $10,695 because we had some additional trees that needed to come down. So I moved it up to 5,000 from 500, assuming that there's a fair to medium chance that there may be,
There's
Another
still some
3 or
black
2.
willows in there.
yeah. But unfortunately, we didn't take care of all of them at the opportunity.
And it'll be pricier to work around the equipment now, if it at the playground, if it needs to be done, but that's just the way it'll be.
Hopefully we've taken care of most anything. that
Yeah,
we have
I mean,
to
that-
playground, but
Anything, yeah, anything immediate's not, is gone, but something might come up.
If you wanna say goodbye to the willow trees, you can go to the next Oktoberfest and there's probably gonna be a bonfire.
Can't have a bonfire. There's a
Burn
burn ban
ban.
until the 15th. They cannot have a bonfire.
Just a firehouse.
They can't.
They better get a permit.
They can't. You can't get a permit.
Alright.
You can't have a fire over 3 feet around.
That's a good point. You might be stuck.
So if you wanna burn
You
one
have to,
piece at a time.
you might have to have a
can have a
And I'll put-
s'mores roasting fire. A small fire and provide s'mores.
Fire in November or something.
Well, that's in the revenue
That's in
section.
the
Oh,
revenue.
okay, okay.
I agree with Justin, there's probably gonna be some more trees in Mecklenburg, it's gonna be hazardous free.
Historian. We bumped a little bit. Contractual, we kept the same. Basic contractual pays for them to go to Berkeley, go to a annual conference, which we had gone to in September, so. That's not, that hasn't come out of the budget, but you can see in previous years that
It'll come out in this.
in this next meeting.
Did the historian actually fill out a paper requesting?
It has not this year,
I don't know where she sent one.
did she?
I don't know.
Oh,
Where she sent one.
I don't know, honestly.
I don't know.
No.
It doesn't sound like she was asked.
That's a fair question, she probably wasn't.
Did we stop paying a stipend?
It is, it's
It's moved.
created a stipend instead of, we are, trying to find out it because we have it under 0.1, but you get to 1090, 1099, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
so we're trying to find out.
I see, it's the same money, it's just been called, it's been a different line.
Yep.
Okay, yep.
Refuse and recycling, yep, those numbers. About the same. Put $1,000 in for. Water district extension, but we know there's a couple of people out there. Flirting with us about that.
Well, I don't know if the recycling guys were ever asked to submit anything either.
No. But we were figuring in a 3.5% raise.
Okay.
It's still,
So probably,
Yeah.
yep,
because I was concerned about
mhm.
making sure that they got traditionally been covered by the highway guys. Raise, so,
Okay.
the water district extension,
Is
that's
that,
self-explanatory.
is that a good number? Seems low to me, I don't know.
Well, it's not the actual extension, it's getting,
Right.
Like
it's-
advertising if there was a public hearing, that kind of thing?
Right,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
that is only for like expenses if somebody, if we are working on an extension or whatever, until the extension is approved by the state, we have to pay all of the expenses out of the general fund. And then once the extension is approved, the water district can reimburse the general fund. That's kind of the way that works. Are we anywhere at all with that well being hooked up?
Yeah, good time for that discussion.
No, we don't have time for that discussion.
Sometime we have people.
one of my weekly phone calls.
Okay.
Who are you calling?
Saying, hey, we submitted everything, what's the deal?
Yeah, we've
Either.
been waiting and waiting and waiting on the Department of Health.
Well, it took how long to get a copy of Chairman's license? 2 years.
Yeah.
Cemeteries, it's gone up and down. We've been trying to fine tune the number, so we dropped it a little bit because this year we spent $2,300, so it's 3,500.
Was that the mowing basically?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think they've actually might have moved them 4 times,
Yeah,
so, which is better. It's, well, it's not perfect, but it's better.
contractual. That's the gas and et cetera for the lawnmowers. New York State retirement. I honestly have to tell you that I don't work these numbers out. I leave that to Kathy and me because they get the numbers from the different organizations. And then they have a formula to break down the retirement, social
Some
security,
Department people's salaries come out.
yeah, and what the salary lines total are. The unemployment insurance, you see it's dropping 100%. We're self-employed and the last insurance claim is paid out. So we don't budget anything on that line. Hospital and medical insurance has gone down significantly, you see. Reason behind that is a number of retirements and departures. And some of the positions that are retiring out of, like Lori's. It's gonna be in Jane's. Well, Jane, you're gonna be replaced by a full-time, so the chances are she's gonna want health insurance. But
Probably. but
Lori's position is not gonna be full-time anymore, so we won't be eligible for health insurance. The dental insurance kind of corresponds along with that. And that's where you see something like the disability also going. That makes sense?
Where's that second line dental insurance? It's 0. You have 2 dental insurance lines.
0.82 and 0.8.
Yeah, and 1 0 down.
Because everything everything, if you'll see is also a 0 line under health insurance for 0.8. Because they all used to come out of just a
0.8.
0.8, and somewhere along the line, in counting things, it was changed. Because we didn't used to pay them out of one out of 90/60 and one out of 90/65. Or maybe that's the way they tried to split them, and then I don't know how that all back to 90/60 with a 0.81 and a 0.82, so. That's apparently
Okay.
maybe those codes weren't right.
Do those lines eventually get dropped or something?
Well, they're supposed to be able to drop off after they're empty 3 years, which
Oh,
they've been
okay.
empty at least 3 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
should be able to take them out of there.
24 had some, oh no, that's the other one, never mind. Okay. Okay.
And those
So
serial
this
phones.
next one,
Now we have the
we have the revenue
section.
side, sorry. We're not too far off. Revenue, real close. The last thing on here as far as expenditure is the stereo bond, and that is related to
Serial. No, sorry.
our proposed land purchase. And this would be the bond principal payment, and it would be for the next 4 or 5 years, excuse me. So that's the forward move. The other thing, and this is up for conversation, it doesn't have to happen tonight. Last year, we budgeted 75,000 for the building reserve fund. We put it in the wrong place, so we had to transfer it to this other building reserve fund, the A 962.4. That's why there's up above, you can see 75,000. And over here, you can see 100,000.
Wait, where are you?
I'm on page 8.
This. Yeah, so
Okay.
Oh, that's
Down here,
75.
So, you know, last year we had a long
Thanks.
conversation about the building reserve fund. Well, we ended up putting it in the wrong line.
Okay,
So we had to adjust it into the appropriate place. And so this year I wanted to make sure we budgeted on the appropriate line. And that's why there's,
I see.
and I increased it to 100,000, which is up for conversation when we see the final numbers. But I did build in additional money since we are moving in that direction. That makes sense to everybody?
what happened to the one we created for Smith Park?
That hasn't been added in here because since we were gonna budget for it, we were just gonna transfer money in at the end of the year. We can have those lines created. They are in existence, we haven't built them into the budget,
So you don't even have it for a placeholder yet?
not yet, no.
Okay, but it'll be there. Because before the end of the year, we hope to transfer
Do
some
it
money
at
into
the
it.
year-end meeting. Honestly, they are in there. They are lost in space. I watched Janine enter them, and then we spent about an hour trying to figure out why they weren't showing up on the printed report.
Hmm.
And we decided we needed to move on with the rest of the budget process. So they have been entered into the computer, and it's gonna require a phone call.
We just rolled down the hill.
It
It's
could
good
be
fun.
you have to You may have to create them in the accounting program first before them to be able to show
Show
up
up
in
in
the budget.
here maybe, yeah.
That's true, but that, the only problem with that is the bond stuff wasn't in the,
Either, so,
either, so.
I don't know, can't tell you.
So
Okay.
as of.
As long as it's in our heads.
Yes, no, I have
Yeah.
not forgotten that. Um. So,
Real property tax.
real property tax. It looks like in 2025 we only taxed $680,000. Problem is that reserve $75,000 was in the wrong line, so it got its own line, that A 1001R. So in reality, we did tax $755,000, which is what we're starting with for 2026. Everybody follow that little bookkeeping change? So that bottom line, we're not, right now, we haven't changed any. The line we put it on, it popped in to that as its own.
Does it use fund balance or any? part?
Yes, that will
Okay.
get to that.
All right,
We'll get to that.
all right.
Slight decrease in interest and penalties on property taxes. Slight decrease. The TV franchise, we're gonna keep the same. Supervisor fee the same, town clerk fee same. Parks and recreation, I have a saying $250,000. And
Maybe think it's gonna work out.
that's actually under what we've made so far this year.
So, yeah, so.
Yeah.
So far this year, we've made $306,000.
Woo, woo, good job, Smith Parkers.
Just Smith Park? Just Smith, that's what you've taken in from this?
Yeah.
301.
However,
Yeah.
306, but
How come that's not
However-
reflected on the budget? Just,
yeah, that's my question. Where the heck are the seasons? Because what's
It's
reflected
still-
on the budget, the 206,942 has all along, every month, reflected our transient camper revenue, but there's
Okay,
$90,000 from
revenue.
seasonal camper revenue, and I have no idea where that
Um,
is.
It's actual
It's
revenue.
with that other line.
Yeah, what happened, because we also brought in 90,000.
So the 206,000 is
Yeah, but you're.
it's season, it's just, that's just transient.
Yeah.
Been
They're not there.
the entire year, so I'm
But-
not sure where they're being.
Where's Kathy putting them?
I don't know. But we have all the
said
breakdown.
it's another
from the camp spot
90,000?
Revenues
Yeah, for. the
taken
season,
in,
for
and
just the
it's
season.
$212, this is as of.
It doesn't show up here.
When was the 9/9,
$212?
$212 from, that's from camp spot. only,
12,000, not 12,000.
Right,
So you said your
212,000.
income's 306.
From transient,
okay,
Mhm.
so,
That's what she said.
and that's all money that was collected.
yeah. But this
But see, then when
90,000,
you, when you do a refund, that refund's gonna knock your number down a little. bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's gonna be adjustment, I think it, the we figured out was like a couple grand,
Yeah.
was the refund, but.
Yeah.
But this 90,000, I'm wondering if it ended up with the deposits, because she had to put the $7,800 seasonal deposits, which is not technically revenue, because we have to give it back at the end of the season. the
Oh,
refund
so you're
deposit.
wondering if that whole line ended
Whole
up,
line.
A separate line for that.
It's on
I'm
all of it,
wondering if-
and then when it's the deposits are refunded, the rest will switch over.
Yeah, so if she,
I just wanna
put
make
all
sure it
the-
doesn't get sucked into the black hole of.
well, that's what it. Now you mentioned that, though, that would make sense that she might have put the whole amount of what was received on the seasonals, not just that, that what, $300 deposit?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Right.
$300 security deposit, which is all that should go to that line.
Right, it was 7,800 was the deposit total for all seasonals. That should be in a line by itself, so it's curious to know.
and where is that line, like, where, I don't see that line in this
It
budget
doesn't live
either,
in the budget
It
because.
doesn't live in the
because
budget.
it's refunded. And it's not a,
Yeah,
It's so, right, so that should show separately.
So
But-
there should
but-
be $90,130 from seasonal revenue. That's somewhere. We don't know where.
well, that's exciting. I mean, I'm sure it's somewhere.
Hmm.
Exciting that you guys have made so much.
With all
Well, I
that,
know it was deposited,
Yeah.
so it's just where is it in the accounting?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But-
It didn't get
but-
on the right revenue line.
That it is true, as we change the north side of the park into day use. We are going to have less campers in general.
Right.
So. There is, we're. Gonna have 25, or I don't know what it
We
is.
might have less campers, but
We're
I
gonna
don't know
have
if we'll
20
have less revenue.
I know,
If,
but I'm just saying.
because we
it's-
make 3 times more in transient sites than we do.
It
season
seems
sites.
like when we got on the board 8 years ago, Smith Park brought in about 100,000. That's my
Mhm.
recollection. You know, so,
120.
Yeah, but you've also considerably raised your rates over the last 3 years.
yeah, yeah.
And online booking has made a significant.
I'm just saying, like, it's a big,
Yeah.
that's a big difference
In
from when we.
2022, it was 160,000.
Mhm.
In 2023,
Mhm.
167,000,
yeah.
2024,
Yeah.
161,000.
All right.
That's a
revenue.
big
Really?
It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
160 whole.
Wow, great either way.
Awesome.
That's about
That's
a couple, it's bad.
So, all that being said, I am with the changes in campground and what we're doing. I'm only budgeting for $250,000.
Mhm.
That doesn't mean, Valerie, that we can stop at 250,000. That's just what I'm budgeting for.
What's made 250? Sorry,
Yeah.
camping's closed.
Yeah.
We're done.
I just don't want,
Well,
I'm assuming, I'm hoping that we're gonna have more revenue than that, but
Yeah, but.
That'll get rolled into the building reserve if we do our.
Yep.
well,
our
that's the question.
accounting
So the thing
correctly.
is that the park has been making a net revenue for
Mhm.
several years now. Janine figures about 10 years, other than the kind of bumpy times, but about 10 years before Diane Carl came in, that we were making a little bit of a net revenue, which means the taxpayers, other than workers' comp and some insurance and stuff like that, the taxpayers aren't paying for the park's paying for itself. The problem is that net revenue has not been going back to the park, it's been going to general. So,
And that was a change under,
yeah.
because of what he learned in accounting school. Those guys.
So that's one of the reasons why we started doing an in-house one, so we could keep track, so that the park could kind of stay out of the politics of people, because the park actually pays for itself and it's actually making money for the town.
But it'd be nice
But
to
we
be
have
able
no
to,
proof of it.
it'd be nice to be able to reinvest it into the park.
that's where.
It'd be nice, because the park has gotten very behind in its infrastructure.
That's
because of
where
it.
at the end of.
You guys
the
have done a good
season-
job in the last couple of years, but
At the end of
yeah.
the season, we can do a resolution and move, let's say we get to the end and it's $310,000 and we feel our expenses have, for 280, we could potentially move that difference, that variance into repair reserve. for
Mhm.
Smith Park.
Mhm.
Yeah, because we have, as of right now, in counting for some errors, so say it's $3,000 variance, because we have to compare, at the end of the year, we compare with Kathy's itemized list and get it back, but as we can, but right now, the park has a net of $179,000. Which will go a long way to upgrading things at the park.
Mhm.
But the problem is, if it doesn't all get budgeted for, which sometimes it doesn't, then we don't end up thinking we have the money for it, but we do have the money, we did have the money, it just went to fund balance or general or whatever it goes, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, agreed.
So I think
So how do we remedy that?
we move the money at the end of the year.
We sent
So
it
can we
down,
put that on the
right?
agenda for the end of year meeting?
Yeah,
Sure.
Is somebody gonna write it down now so we don't forget or?
I don't think it's gonna be forgotten.
Well,
No, I
like-
Just more to-
Good. That's where I tend to be. I'm like, if I don't write it down, it doesn't happen.
I
Valerie's
move on
not
to the
forgotten.
interest and earnings.
Mallory, I think we're done with you.
Now.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Wasn't trying to be.
No, you've been here long enough. Get the heck out.
Is there any, poor Jason, is like,
What we're,
is there any way we can skip?
We are,
We're closing.
we're 10 lines away from B,
Okay.
and B fast.
You can do it, Jason.
Interest and earnings, last year we brought in 71,000. I reduced that to 65,000 with the assumption that the interest rate's gonna go down and we're gonna have a bit less money in the.
And if we make more, that's great.
revenue statement.
Next month.
Use of money in profit, interest and earnings, 65,000.
Oh, okay. 'cause then
He's
two
talking the
lines.
two lines
I looked
combined.
at two lines, where are you seeing 65?
Oh,
The
okay,
total.
we broke out the difference between the, building reserve and then.
Yeah. All right, now I'm with you.
Do we have the building reserve in a higher interest account?
No, very good. The IMA, the investment accounts have a slightly higher than the checking accounts, but it's. When
Yeah, I was
it's-
gonna say,
yeah.
it made more money
We
proportionally.
we move all the money sort of around back and forth when we have something come in, we move it into an IMA or the investment account until we move it back down in the regular checking account.
Hmm.
Just try to maximize,
Mhm.
keep a baseline amount of money so we're not bouncing checks, obviously. But as much as we can keep up there in the investment accounts,
You still call that the sweep account.
no.
We had that set up a sweep account once.
Yeah,
It would sweep the money out at night and put it in a different account. You're supposed to earn a little bit more interest.
Interesting. Overnight, you were getting a little
Overnight.
more interested. That's really funny.
Like, it's like low rate or reverse rates for electricity.
All right.
Costs less at night than during the day.
Alright,
Uses up.
we move on to dog licensing.
Yeah.
We put some extra money in there in 2025, but you can see we're at 2,600, was 3,000 reasonable, we think, by the end of the year?
It's like, my,
I think that's the number you gave
Ben,
me.
that seems to be,
Let's be right then.
well, your revenues, no,
The
that's
rest,
not what I gave you.
no?
I had 6,000 on here.
Mhm.
Cause actual in 2023 was $550 to $5,090. So your actual revenues in
2024 is 1,442.
that can't be,
That can't
it's
be.
not. No, it can't be.
I'm happy to put 6,000
I don't,
but then we need to explore why showing.
why,
$50.
why is the
They only
revenue
$25
for dog
too much, too?
licenses not showing?
What you like.
No,
I
it's
thought there used to
not.
be 3.
Oh, but the
No, I thought
70,
there was-
yes,
Oh, because
Really?
we,
because the 70%
Huh.
is
There
what
was
is
me.
showing up in your 2025 numbers, that 70% is showing up in that column. So the actual revenues that we
Hmm.
keep
Keep.
is. The portion we kept
Expense.
is what is showing here, not,
I mean, I've heard.
what
of it,
actually.
I think.
not what
It
it
was right before.
Okay, I was.
because
wondering
your
if you were on the board
70%
at the
went
time.
out directly out,
It's gonna,
which is gonna happen again.
It's frustrating to think
So,
about,
This.
you know, that you can spend all the money anyway. and then-
So 3,000 is
So,
probably fine.
Probably,
Yeah.
no, it's gonna be less.
so back to 3,000, if we did.
You know, I don't even think 3,000 is probably even high.
I
You
mean,
probably,
we've gotten 2,600 so far till
Well, but
August.
that's about to go out the door.
that's about to go out.
Oh, that's the total. That's not the the 70%.
Let's say
of it.
2,000.
Yeah, take it to 2, I think you'll be all right at 2. Because that
I
was
knew
the
there
one
was some
thing
reason, I think you
that
guys
was
talked
one
about
thing
it.
I questioned on my sheet when I put it together with, and I put it down to 2. You raised it to 3. My sheet said 2.
Children.
Okay.
Fines and forfeit bail, that's what the judge put in as his proposed amount. Dumpster day donations, I put in at $2,500.
This year we only got 22.
State aid per capita, page 3, 18,980 is what they've been giving the town forever.
What, we could just go back, I had a
Yeah.
question about the donation to Smith Park Playground, was that something that someone created back in some other day and hasn't been donated into, or?
I think it
Someone-
must have been
It
money
was a,
donated.
it was a line item that was donated. And
Okay,
You know, a number of years ago,
Um,
there used to be a small playground at Smith Park, maybe that's
Mhm.
where. it came
Maybe
from.
that's
Somebody
from
paid
that.
for it.
yes,
yeah,
yes,
okay,
because there were some things that were donated in Grant Tabor's memory. Some monies, and that one little small playground was what was purchased out of that, so. That's
Okay.
why there
why
was that donation line. it
line's
came in
doing that.
Specifically for that, and then
Mhm.
once it was spent, it
mhm,
comes out there in zero.
okay,
So,
Thank you.
sorry. The state aid per capita, like I said, this is the AIM payment that they send us. It is what it is. The mortgage tax, I wanna keep it at $90,000. Even though it shows we've only had 36 through, we get
You get one more.
we get one more big check coming and we won't know what that is until after it arrives. But looking at the last couple of years, I think 90's a safe bet.
Probably safe.
I don't wanna over budget or over expect some revenues and then really hurt us. If you go down without any changes, we made some changes, so we'll discuss it, but right now, this budget's using $39,510.67 in fund balance. So if we can increase or decrease, or we'll have to run again.
How much fund balance do we have in A?
Like $850,000. Not that enough, we can call the fund balance. For the projected fund balances for the end of the year. It's a lot of money. Which is gonna shrink,
Yeah,
because we're
but you're
gonna,
talking all funds, right?
no, that was A, but
We're gonna spend some.
we're gonna spend about 275 right off the bat on. Proposed real estate transaction,
Right, so you wanna be,
so we wanna keep that in.
I was just asking what the total
No,
is.
I will have that for you, or we can go to the office afterwards, because I do
Not
have,
making a criticism, just asking. Yeah, so I
if
know.
you'd like, I do have.
But if we increase fund balance, it just decreases amount raised in taxes,
right,
whatever dollar per dollar, that's
So-
all that.
if, right, but what.
I
you
just
have to
wanted
keep-
to know what
you have to keep
percentage
in mind
this
any-
is of that.
When you use fund balance to lower taxes, the next year,
It's that
you
much
need
more.
to have that much in fund balance also to support your budget.
No, I got it. I was
Or
just
you-
curious what percentage of the fund balance that was,
Oh.
just because I wanted to know.
It's probably 5.
That's all.
I will make the adjustments and we can take a peek at this for the next, I'll get you copies of the budget with the proposed changes. The budget. These pretty straightforward. This has. Right off the bat, the 0.1 lines are the new budgets for the new town clerk, tax collector, and deputy clerk. There's a decrease in this based on a lower pay, less experience. And, no, this isn't a lot of.
Sorry, the deputy town clerk comes out of the B budget
No, a portion of the job, that she-
portion. Okay.
just like the portion of the town clerk
Mhm.
tax collector comes out of it. This is, the town clerk will answer questions and be at the counter, they both do some work there when they come looking for building permits or information about building permits. They're doing some work on behalf of codes department, so it's being paid out of the. Does that make better sense, Liz? Is that a
Mhm.
better explanation?
Yeah, that's good.
And all the fees and everything are funneled through the clerk's office. We're not. Like the park,
You know.
they collect all their revenue and then disperse or. Bring it to
Right.
Kathy, where
Where
everything.
he turns all his revenue into me and it you see it on my monthly report
Mm-hmm,
as to what I turn
Mhm.
over to the supervisor.
They don't let Jason play with the money.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Jason, you're funded out of B because
100%.
And Burdette has their own code enforcement system.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and
What we're working on, and Rob's been helping us through some shared service agreement. Burdette had previously been paying about $300 a month toward code enforcement. And so if we move forward long-term, Jason's program would be, he basically be going toward his salary here. And then they also would like him to do fire inspections. At fire inspections, he would split 50-50 with the village. And then any services outside those two things, there's some other things that we've been discussing that would be private between Jason and the village of Burdette.
yeah, my focus would be the building permits and the code enforcement aspect of it, not the building inspector aspect.
So I reduced the contractual attorney line in here because we haven't spent any money out of that in a long time. So once again, with money in fund balance, B has a smaller fund balance, but there's money in fund balance if we did have to do some legal work. I also reduced the contingent account because we haven't spent any out of that in quite a while. So I cut that in half. Jason came to me and made a request for his salary. We negotiated back and forth, and this is what we came to. So if you have questions or comments or concerns, Jason's here to answer those.
How much revenue did you bring in to the town?
We're,
The building permits? Right, that's your only,
That's only the source of income other
yeah,
than sales tax.
so we're. I think we should be pretty close to 30,000 after this month, after October, or after September. And then with what's come in so far in October, we've exceeded our projected from last year.
how does it show this?
I know, it's just what.
cause I know a couple
Yeah.
years ago, we adjusted the building permit fee, so it more covered the cost of your salary.
Building
It
permit.
wasn't.
30,000, at 22,853.
Yeah, the end of August, you're with 22,853, and so. I'm pretty sure you'll reach that 30,000.
Yeah, because there was just shy of 5,000 for September. And then we're already probably at 3, close to 3 for,
Right, so that's gonna,
October.
that 5,000 will put you almost to 28,000 in already, and if we're 3, you're over your 30. If we're already at 3 this month, we're looking like we're gonna be.
Is it in general, are the building permits expected to pay the full salary of the code enforcement officer? Or,
No.
I'm just asking, 'cause I don't know.
That's
Not really,
yeah,
I'm-
ultimate-
unpredictable,
that's,
really.
I mean, ultimately, the goal would be for long terms. For the revenue to be able to pay his full salary, but I mean, that's not typical. In other departments.
Mhm.
But I'd like to increase our revenue each year and. Get to that point where it's, the more it offsets, the more self-sufficient our department can become, the better.
And
But we don't raise taxes in this fund.
Right.
Because a portion of the sales tax that comes in goes into B, and that is,
Does Burdette gets its
Between-
own separate portion of the sales tax?
Yeah.
um,
They don't raise taxes in it, but it's still tax money that's funded it.
right, but it's funded
For
through
the
the
sales
sales,
tax,
So-
is it?
through the sales tax income we get from the county.
Mhm.
So we aren't raising it in property tax.
Jason and I have been discussing outside of the budget he already has a number of tweaks he wants to make on the fees moving forward in the new year, so then there's potential for additional revenue, but that's not his driving force.
No,
He's trying to make the fees more realistic. The properties that he's spending the most time on should be paying more than more of their fair share versus the ones that he.
Somebody who builds $1 million house takes more visits than somebody who builds a $50,000 house or whatever.
Or even things like decks and stuff, you know, I may be out on site 3 times where a home, you know, $1 million home, I may be out there 20 times, and a $200,000 house, I may be out there 12 to 14, depending, because some of the phases that you go through in a larger house require more visits. And related to revenue too, I don't foresee it happening soon, that there's I believe it's the 54G money that the state collects from each insurance company that's supposed to go directly to municipalities, code enforcement offices throughout the state, but that's actually in a state law, and it's never made its way to any local municipalities. So NISBAC and Stavola have been drafting a letter and petition to request that money starts being distributed to assist with code enforcement budgets. Yeah, upcoming in the new year, and we didn't add anything to an assistant line, but if there are some things with like the short-term rental law that the state passed that may require more work on our part, as well as the new code's going to be increasingly technical. So if we needed to hire someone part-time, we have some money that we had budgeted in previous years that we had never expended.
In previous years, 2 or 3 years in a row, we budgeted $3,000 to $4,000, and then we stopped budgeting it a couple of years ago because we weren't spending it. So that money is out there that we could use.
Yeah, I want to be really careful about hiring someone. I don't want to hire someone unless it's absolutely necessary. But with as busy as things are, there's a likelihood in the next year that we'll need either some more clerical support, or a very part-time code enforcement officer. But I don't want to increase the budget at this point. I want to really make sure. I want to get into next year before I approach the board to move forward with that, or if it's even necessary.
Sorry,
I was gonna say, it looks like you're getting a new,
Planning
for a new vehicle.
a new vehicle.
Well,
22.
before that, real quick, the equipment, Jason's getting an iPad this year. He's in a printer, so he can start doing a lot of this work remotely. And
Is it a printer you could use like in your
It
car?
would be in the vehicle.
Cool.
So I'd be able to, print certificate occupancies and whatnot.
That's cool.
And you can see in here that we budgeted 1,000 for it, and we haven't spent any of it, but by the end of the year, it will be spent, and we wanted to keep that line funded because he is actually looking for potentially a bulletproof vest.
Yes, that's, Justin did forward me some info on grants, but if we're unable to get a grant for the bulletproof vest, it's not like something I feel like I need to wear every day, but there are the occasional situations that I would feel more comfortable walking into. It's with one. It's unfortunate, and it's not something like I had when I started this role that I ever thought I would get there, but there's not necessarily just here, but they have piqued my awareness a little bit walking into to properties and things.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yes, it's not something I wanted to have that money for, but it's I think.
I might have to get one for the assessors.
Yeah.
I mean, we already approved that
Cause
for you to buy one.
his cell phone's through our AT&T account. And you get an iPad decent rate through AT&T and add it. When you add it to your, cell phone
So-
plan, it's not that expensive monthly to,
So I've talked with FirstNet and AT&T a little bit. I'm going to, since we have an account for Verizon, I'm gonna talk with them as well to see. But, the way that the OGS contract is set up with FirstNet, they are not allowed to do the deals on the iPads to them. If we buy one third party, we can take it to them and they'll add it to our account. But they will not,
wireless.
Can't
yeah,
get the special deals that they try to.
right, so I'm gonna see if they're available through Verizon, if it all depends on what their OGS contract says. But I was not aware of that until,
That actually
Yeah.
makes sense. though.
yeah.
okay. Well, that's good to know then.
Well, not historically, I shouldn't say this. We had discussed in the past getting on a 3-year cycle for codes, especially where we trade out the vehicle before it has too many miles. We buy a vehicle at state bid and then sell it, auction it off. We can keep the actual ownership cost to a minimum without, we get rid of the vehicle before it's out of warranty, before we're putting a lot of money into it. This is year 3. So that's where that quote is based on a bid quote, a state bid quote for a similar or same vehicle.
Right.
Right, because we purchased this vehicle in 2023.
Yep. So that's if, that this is open for conversation, this is. But I think it seems reasonable, especially for the codes vehicle, that we don't, the town. Has a history of keeping vehicles very long, and I know Mike and I were around when the codes vehicle was that super that we were dumping
Money and money.
ridiculous amounts of money into.
One that literally almost fell apart.
So we don't need to be in that pattern, and we should be able to recoup the majority of this 45,000.
Can you actually get a suggested sale value for what your car is worth?
Yes,
Really?
Justin, I checked
Oh.
Auctions International and there was nothing comparable on there. Like the Kelly Blue Book value was roughly, it was like 25 to 26 for like a trade-in.
I wanna look at Edmunds too, because McGuire's uses Edmunds now and not Kelly Blue Book. You wanna look at that one too.
Cause then it really comes down to if you sell the old one, you get a new one, how much did it cost you per year to do that?
Yeah, because when we started talking about that was for water. And at the time, you could like basically make what we were buying a truck. But I mean, if we're gonna lose, I don't know, to me, it seems like if you can only sell it for $25,000. It's a lot of value. I don't know, I think a 3-year-old car should be pretty good. I don't know, if you really can only sell it for
So we were
$25,000.
looking at 32,000,
Okay, well, that's a little different,
would
but,
be 15,000, which would be 5,000 a year.
Which
yeah,
is-
that's a little, that's better, but if we're only selling it for 25, that's.
2023.
I agree, we should.
Cause at
look
the
into-
time we talked about it, it was like you could buy a water truck on state bid for a certain price, and then you could sell it on the auction, and it was like. The same price, like you were like only spending $1,000 to have on that truck
Yep.
for 3 years, but these numbers don't sound as favorable as when we discussed this for water.
State bid prices on a car versus a truck or a dump truck or
Mhm.
whatever are not as good.
Mhm.
on-
Right,
on a
but,
regular
and I
car.
remember talking about this for the water trucks,
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
and that seemed like a thing that made sense, but if we were selling it for 25,000, to me, that feels like maybe it doesn't make sense myself. Personally, and it's only a 3-year-old car, I mean,
He's got low miles. for
yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know how many
miles.
miles you have on it, but it's only 3 years old. So,
If you can get us another number.
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
like a likely
yeah.
sale number, I feel like that'd be helpful, cause,
Okay.
Cause
Yeah.
maybe this plan would work if it was every 5 years instead of 3 years.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
if the mileage is low, like you said, the mileage will be
Is
Not much
warranty,
higher.
3-year warranty.
3-year bumper to bumper, 5-year
Drivetrain.
drivetrain.
That's when we really, I mean, the Subaru didn't have warranty anyhow, but
Mhm.
So you're,
if you run out of warranty, that
still
fails.
in the factory warranty.
Right.
And that was the thing about three, if you sold it before the warranty was up, you're not getting unexpected repairs before you sell
Mhm.
I can get some more solid numbers on that and.
Yeah, again, for a
Okay.
truck, it feels like it makes sense, but I don't know, to me, that does not seem like a good value to the payers to, if we can only sell it for $20,000.
it. Town amount, Tour used to do it for the loader,
Uh-huh,
cause they used it very little, and they
Uh-huh.
would lease it, and they would
Uh-huh.
actually sell it. They could sell it for about what they bought it for,
Uh-huh.
state bid out in the
and
open
that,
market.
and that makes
That made sense.
sense, but this doesn't sound like it's the same thing.
Not quite,
This doesn't sound like it makes quite as much sense.
but we'll look into it.
Mhm. So I guess I'm saying I would not be in favor of budgeting for a car. Unless we know that we could recoup more than that $25,000 from this vehicle.
Okay, well, we'll do a little bit more research on it.
Cool.
When we get done with this, I have some information from Brian, email won't go through.
Okay,
And
that's.
Are we done on page 1?
Yes. Public health, that's another position that's, but it's essentially, this is the pass through, right? Public health,
public health,
4020.1, that's the one that's essentially a pass through.
yes, 4020.1 is the Register of Vital Statistics, it's on the bottom of your other first page.
Yeah.
It's Register of Vital Statistics, and that is the one that the revenue collected from that is the pay to the person being the Registrar of Vital Statistics, so it's like death certificates are $10, duplicate copies of marriage licenses and birth certificates are $10, and so when that $10 comes in, we turn it into payroll monthly for what was collected the month before. So it gets added to our paycheck, so we end up paying taxes on it. But that number, the reason it's 1,200, because there's 2 of us, or less, but if you were doing it as a stipend in a 1099, $600 is that threshold for a 1099. So, that's why it's always been that number, and it does fluctuate. You can see we've collected in a little more than the 1,200, but not always, so. 1,200 is a good number to leave it at for revenue.
Watkins Glen swim program. Last year, there's a 0 there because it changed directors. I tracked down the individual running it, and she was ecstatic to find out that we had money budgeted still, and that she's supposed to be sending me a payment request for 2025. Then begged and concluded that we continued on with the $1,000.
So she didn't know she was supposed to send us
Nope.
an invoice
Exactly.
and a list of participants.
Yep.
Huh.
Jason, thank you. You
Yeah.
facilitated that. Jason's sister is a PE teacher in Watkins Glen, and he got me in touch with the right person. The youth program, I kept that at 5,000. I don't have the numbers for 2025, but in 2024, it ended up, we are making like $147 student participant, Hector resident participant. So I felt like that was good return on our investment.
They
They haven't vouchered us either.
haven't vouchered for anything. You know, I don't,
They vouchered last year. We paid that last year.
yeah, but they haven't, I don't remember seeing anything this year
No, I don't either.
for that either, for the. Okay.
Even though it says revenues, expenditures to date,
Well, that's true.
I mean, there's a number in there.
Oh, no, they did
No.
vouchers, what about?
They did send us something and we paid it in February.
Yeah, it was really early this
We
year.
paid it early, okay, that's too long ago to remember. Ask me something from 20 years ago, I'll give you, that would have given it to you.
Finally contractual, I left that money in with the thought that in the past, we used to pay. The one organization for planning work, and that seems to stop happening.
Southern Tier?
Yeah, Southern Tier. And I wasn't sure what, well, we have 2,000 in there, they haven't requested it, but we had been paying them some money and then. It stopped for a couple years and I put that back in and
More, oh, okay.
What do they do for that? What is plan?
They do whatever we
Yeah.
requested. Last time
Yeah.
they worked on the zoning thing. and
they
that-
worked on the zoning, they worked on, the.
No, I bet where that is on that 80-20.4.
Uh-huh,
It belonged down here on 80-30.4 because we were working on comprehensive plan.
well, we didn't,
So the 2025 budget should have had something in it in 2025.
Well, we put it in there because we were gonna send out the surveys, but then the
Yep.
Cornell students did it.
yeah, we
Right.
had money in there.
We
we
haven't
didn't-
done the survey yet.
Right,
They're-
but it's on the wrong line. What I'm telling you, is you look back at 2025. This was intended to be on the comprehensive plan, not on planning.
So that's why I put money back on the
why-
comprehensive plan this year, because I know we were gonna have to spend
Because
some.
this
for
is
it.
the money that was meant for the comprehensive plan
Okay,
from last year. So it ended up on the wrong line item. It should have been down on the 80-30.4.
As long as
Because
there's
that's
not
where we
enough
would have been expending it.
10.41 will be all right.
well. So I did wanna make sure there's money on the comprehensive plan line, because we'll be working on that more this year.
We'll have time for all that, right, Liz?
Yeah, when was it?
So are you, wanting to take it off of 80-20.4 and leave it just on 80-30.4? Is that the
Yes.
same money? I guess is what I'm saying.
Yes,
Yes.
so we're gonna take that off and there'll just be one $2,000 charge. The environment control contractual, that's the money we pay to. Santa Fe Pure Waters, Cuba Lake Watershed. There's one more in there. That I'm drawing a blank on. Everybody's,
We used to do that, whatever, community
Yeah.
science or whatever,
Yeah.
but we stopped that last year because we didn't know whether we were ever benefiting from it. So,
I kept that the same as last year we spent. Almost the full $6,500. Once again,
Sustainability.
oh, the
committee.
sustainability, I put 500 on their line again. Sustainability's good bang for the buck.
Yeah.
Retirement benefits, etc. Are based on. Once again, the bills that we have, the changes in employment, etc. You see on this, since we don't have anybody fully retiring out of this line actually went up because our health insurance expenses went up 18% this year. And that's that. Revenue side, page 1. County sales tax, last year. In 24 and 25, we did not. Put any of the sales tax revenue into the B fund. The reason being is we had almost 3.5 years of budget sitting in fund balance. And since the B fund, the other place we send a lot of sales tax money is to DB, the highway fund. It seemed like we should spend down some of the fund balance. I am putting 60,000 back, because we're at the point where it needs some funding again. We've trimmed the fat. Vital statistics, that's the one we talked about, the money comes in, the money goes out. Interest and earnings reduced a little bit. Once again, there's less money, less interest.
Well, it's not just less, interest rates are dropping.
Interest rates are dropping and there's less money to earn interest on.
Right.
That's what I meant by less money, less income.
Mhm.
Building permits and fees. Do we want to keep it at 30? We didn't talk about this really.
I'd say we could probably up it to like 32, I think, 32.5 maybe.
So you almost started to sound like an auctioneer.
So where are you gonna put it at?
32.5.
32.5.
Final bid.
We're gonna make him stay this late. He's gonna bring us some more money.
All right, right now we have sale of equipment, that would be the vehicle, we're gonna do some more research on that, but. The one number we came up with after a little research was 32,000 for the Jeep, but we'll do some more research and we can finish that discussion. At another meeting. Gifts and donations we don't budget for. And so. That's it.
Mhm.
You cut,
I make a motion to adjourn.
cut down, fund down.
What's that?
You cut down, fund down.
Yeah, I cut down fund balance, like I said, we had a significant amount that we were using. And we cut it this year taxes. We have a couple things to cover, notes from the Mecklenburg Fire Department before we can.
Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you, Jason.
Have a
Dana.
good evening.
Sorry to keep you so late.
That's okay, I do enjoy it,
Oh,
most part.
well, that's good.
Oh,
Brian said he will drop these off in paper form tomorrow. He said he wasn't able to get it to email. So. Okay, I don't know why that page is that way. Max South. Their budget includes. Vehicle maintenance of $2,500, training $400, miscellaneous office supplies $175, equipment maintenance $150, reserve equipment $300. Insurance $1,650, fuel $450, gas $250. Vehicle payments, they have payments on DE 15 and DE 14, so a share of those. For Met South would be $1,260 on DE 15 and 830 on DE 14. Gear, they've got an estimate of 8,000 in there, building truck fund 4,435 for a total of 20,400.
That's a 2% increase.
Yeah, so that's what his budget was for that.
That was
I don't know what
Mech
that
South
page is. Mech South,
specifically.
that was
Yep.
Mech South. So. 2026 projected for the other the district, the regular Mecklenburg district. They have current income from contracts $202,391, I think it says. Fundraising 10,000, donations and memorials 3,000, interest 500, rental of the firehouse 1,200 so they have a total. Expected income of $217,091. They have expenses for apparatus payments of $29,267, insurance at $16,000, apparatus maintenance at $35,000, utilities at $15,700. Contracted services $12,000. Building and grounds maintenance and supplies $10,000, physicals for the firefighters $3,000, fire and EMS equipment maintenance and supplies $5,200, utilities, which would be fuel, electric, propane $12,000, Social donations, sunshine and PR is 9,000, training 2,500. Admin 2,600 and completion of a UTV grain bin. Something.
They were getting a rescue thing. for-
I think it's some sort of a rescue thing for a grain bin. Like if there's a person trapped in a grain bin, that's $12,000. Fire gear is 4,800, and now I know what the first piece was. Miscellaneous fire equipment, 7,500. Building truck fund, 35,000. And completion of the pond project, 5,500, because
I see they got the dry hydrant in the other day.
Oh, did they?
yeah, well, there's an issue with the holding tanks,
Yeah,
with the pipe that's too high,
the
the
water,
holding tanks.
the water pipes that go from the pond into the holding tanks, they're higher than the overflow.
So
So
they're
when
not
the
getting-
pond's full, it overflows and the water's not going in, so that has to be corrected. But they're trying to get soil and water to do that.
They said something about that. a couple
It
months.
actually looks like the overflow is too low. The pipes are the right height,
Oh, that's good.
so the pond never gets full.
Well, this year would be a hard year,
It was full in the spring.
Was it?
actually
Huh.
pretty
Yeah, it
far,
was.
yeah.
that's true, it was
Yeah.
so wet early
Yeah.
on, yeah.
So,
But it could have been.
so all
for
right, he's gonna drop that off
Full.
tomorrow, but that's,
We have the total.
the
Soil.
total of their expenditure budget, yes, that 200 and. Let's see it, $217,067.
That's what, they're way out of 2%.
Yeah, so it's the other one, so south. I mean, you said.
No,
the total-
2%, that was right on.
2%. He's
Oh, I
right
thought that was
under that one.
40,000 something.
No, that
But-
was 20,400.
but-
Oh, okay, so that's
But
good.
also in. Their budget might be that, but that's not, I mean, he didn't say that what he was asking for, he told you,
He told me 2%, so that's what we.
he told you 2%.
That's their whole budget, that includes the donations and everything.
Right, yeah,
Okay.
so their whole budget includes other things, their fundraising and they're balancing their budget with their fundraising and their other outside things that aren't
Okay,
part of our contract.
But if you study that a little more, you may find it's closer to what we're.
so the revenue, if that number right there, as you can see, is a 2% increase to 194,640.
2966.
966. On the other side, both lines are increased because I
It's
divvied
the
up,
separate pages, isn't it?
The second page.
yeah, the second page. On the appropriation side, Mecklenburg, we have workers' comp, which is $5,473.18. Looking at total budgets, I gave 10% of it to the Mecklenburg South, because last year we didn't charge them anything for workers' comp, and the balance goes to the standard Mecklenburg Fire Department district. So the increase is a little bit higher on the
Southern part.
southern part, which is okay, so if we're trying to get them up to equal rates, and increase is actually a little bit lower than 2% because we divvied up how we're paying, and we decrease in workers' comp, which was almost a 30% decrease. So their actual ask is, in the total sense of things, is pretty insignificant. That makes sense with everybody?
Mhm.
We need to move this, correct, so we can advertise it.
Are you happy with all of them? Cause if you're going to. Yes, I need to know by, I think it's Tuesday, I said.
I think you said Tuesday.
I think I said by Tuesday of next week, we have to have this. We had to have it ironed out. We gotta go back and, hold on a second.
Next Tuesday's our.
Right.
Yes, but if we do it at 7 o'clock, it's not, she can't get it advertised.
Alright, cause I have to, the ad has to be. In the paper. Come out in the paper on the 22nd, which means I have till either 4 PM on the 16th or possibly noon on the 17th, so. I have to have those numbers ironed out not later than Tuesday's board meeting for all
Fire and ambulance.
fire and ambulance. So if you're ready to make all of them preliminary based on these new sheets, then you can do that resolution tonight. Otherwise, you're gonna have to do it Tuesday at your regular meeting.
Do you want me to make the motion?
Sure.
I make the motion to approve the tentative fire budget contracts to the preliminary budget.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second.
Keep in mind, if the budget looks really bad, the numbers can go down,
Down.
cannot go up.
And that means
Burdette might have to shave a little off.
well, Burdette, we're gonna do an 8%, not
Right,
10%.
I'm
Correct.
saying-
That
And you-
number is that sheet
Did you
that-
update to 8%?
the 2 pages that I handed out today include the 8% instead of the 10%.
But Jason said if it really didn't work at 8%, they might be able to squeak by their year by doing 6%. And that part.
I'm sure you do.
My
So
thought
we have a
is-
first and a second. Is there any further questions or comments?
My thought is if we go to a public hearing and the people don't come complain from Burdette Fire Department. Let them have the money, keep the building nice and okay.
Nobody usually complains about fire.
I know.
So there's no question or comment, all in favor? Aye.
Hey,
Real quick also, with the change, the total budget is only going up for Burdette 5.24% when you factor in the expense that we have of maintaining the building. Or our payment on the building.
Hmm.
So
No, because that's not going up at all.
that's not going up at all, so when you add them together, the increase is less than 1%. The other thing is we have to do the same thing for the ambulance budgets. What's that?
No,
We moved the ambulance to
No.
preliminary.
No, you did not. move
we're doing them all
any of
together.
them.
Okay.
All right, so Anthony made this one. and
I'll
seconded.
second it.
First and a second to move the ambulance budgets. From preliminary to tentative, or is it the other way? around?
Tentative to
Tentative to preliminary. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
And
Liz,
I make a motion to adjourn.
second,
Second.
thank you very much for sticking with us, everybody.